Good morning, everybody. Hello. Listen, I'm looking a little rough. It's a little early for me for some reason. If you can't tell, I literally just got out of bed. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hello, how's it going? Hello, everyone here. Morning, Swole, what's going on? Cobalt, Coleman, let's go! What's going on, Cthulhu? Hello, good to see you. Ryder, good to see you. Simple Rick, what's good? Have to watch. What's going on? Hello. Good morning. So, apparently, Soren, hello. There's a ban list today. Apparently. Kind of neat, actually. So, okay, there's a little bit of here things to do to set the scene before we hop on with the other knots here in just a second. Couple things. First, we have the suspected, right? Big thing and big change from the last event to this event was, of course, Lycavoid being back. Equilinks to 3, Kinleo being the 3 were pretty big. This ban list they released, updated list, I guess, the Tartarus list, I should say. It was interesting. Right? It brought back one of the most powerful Elestrals in history. Format and deck warping and deck build warping for all players. It also, in a lot of ways, didn't change a whole lot. There's a lot of top decks that were still very similar, still very much the same. And like many things, you try to change something, and maybe things don't change at all. Wooly, Blizzstrix, and Frost had a super high representation. Shoutouts to Gwen, to Cobalt, and of course to the winner, Adam. Shoutouts to Penthouse for taking down the entire event with Frost. Frost was a good little inclusion here, as I'm actually forgot to turn on my lights. And it was kind of an insane run from all the Frost out there, actually. And I can't help but think and wonder, what can this list have now? No card is safe, number one, is kind of what we've been getting at. And the preview in the picture has Lycavoid in it. I think we kind of knew this, right? Lycavoid is on suspect. Something's got to change. Can you ban a floor right now? True, what's going on, champ? Good to see you. Everyone say hi, Adam, and congratulations, Adam. What's going on, RDS? Hello, good to see you. Hello. Oh, Shazaz, hello. Things can be huge. I don't know what to expect here on this one. A couple things. Number one, there's a lot of things to address. I guess we should say is that there's like, you have to if you're gonna hit one thing, you do have to address a lot of the top list. Frost, big suspect on it. We've seen so much Frost into the meta, and so the question will always be like, is that just too much? Is Chimera too much? Is Bat too much? Like, is Iwooly? Is Blizzstrix? Like, what can we do about that? Other things, Lockgun. Can we hit Lockgun even further? Was Tadpuff enough? I mean, Lockgun didn't really convert. It wasn't really doing a whole lot, but it is the most represented deck inside the meta. Do we hit Dio? Do we hit Solar? Like, is people saying Solar is still good, but Solar is still not doing well? I don't know, right? That's kind of the big thing, is that we just have a lot to consider when it comes to the ban list and when it comes to what potentially can be adjusted. And that's the weird part to me, is when I sit here and think about this list, this upcoming emergency list. Like, what can we do? Like, we're going back to Jodeci. What can we do? What can I say? Yeah, let me hop on with the other Elestronauts. Everyone say hi Josh, hi Caleb. I'm gonna mute real quick though, just in case they pop in and they're like, yeah, so anyways, then I just alright, give me a moment. They're you guys won't be able to hear them. Hello. Hi. I muted y'all, and that way I didn't pop in and y'all said something like, we have to kill oh, let's go, best card game. Tight. All right, let me unmute y'all real quick. All right, say hi to everyone. Hi.
Hi everyone. Hi to
Hi,
everyone.
Play Wizard 101.
Oh my
Can we throw
god.
my stream real quick? Actually,
That one is our iPad baby time.
exactly. I don't know if y'all remember, but I think it was like the first Banlist React we did. I did a little like virtual cam for my webcam, and in the corner I had what was it? Nubby's Number Factory. The live Nubby reaction because I was just playing that while we were talking.
Luminate together strong. True, very true. I'm gonna pop over to this other scene real quick. We have some shenanigans. So Banlist, I guess. Kind of neat. I don't know. It's so funny. What were they thinking?
I don't think they were thinking a whole lot, quite frankly.
So this is the old one.
Are you talking like the old one or like?
I guess both.
One?
Like I guess both, because like the old one, I think, and I actually was not that big of a not fan, I guess, of the old one. Like Lycavoid was format warping, still is, but I feel like the other changes were pretty good. The big thing that I know that people were saying is that they omitted a lot from this list, or they had some things they definitely missed.
The prior list just like didn't change anything. Like it brought in some stuff, but it like the format, as we saw from the last tournament, like Frost still cleaned house.
Yeah,
they just didn't actually hit it meaningfully.
So I think that also has a lot to do with Lycavoid's returning. Like if I had a nickel for every time that Blistrix won an event when Lycavoid was legal, I'd have 2 nickels. And
ridiculous.
But like, I mean, one of the reasons that like I even brought Blistrix and Firestorm when Lycavoid was around because I just didn't want to deal with it. So like
that's real,
and it's a great way of dealing with the 6 is just putting up a bunch of 7s or higher.
6-7.
So I'm not entirely like surprised at Frost's representation because of how well it does with Lycavoid. It kind of felt like it was one of the only decks to play. Yeah, thank you, Adam. I'm glad you agree.
I was gonna say, I literally was gonna say, I was doing my research to make sure. I'm pretty sure that Adam has said almost exactly that as to why they played Blizz in the last event.
Yeah, from champion to champion connection, really.
Yeah, it's really weird because I know I only got to hop in for like 10 minutes for the last Banlist, and I'm finally here for this one. But I do think that Lycavoid coming back was the problem, even if people don't think that it's that big of an issue. When a singular card warps deck building so much, that doesn't mean that it's healthy or okay.
Yeah, I can see that. That's kind of like, I think with the, like in regards to the other changes in the list, like obviously Race, we didn't see Race really do anything. Tadflow and Tadpuff I think were good. I'm not the biggest fan of limiting stuff like this. I just like a ban, like it's just take it out back. Bat I think was maybe my favorite hit on here because it was like addressing similar to the Unk limit, RIP Unk. It's like you have a play pattern that you're changing that has tangible results with how the deck would like to play. I don't think that changed enough about how the deck played. More Frost is still like crazy, even with Bat at 1s. But like Equilinx and Kinleo, I think did stuff. But do you think like that Lycavoid was just boxing out these 2 cards regardless?
I think it was partially both boxing and improving their power at the same time.
Yeah.
I thought it was really strange that a lot of the lists that were topping with these cards weren't on Lycavoid. I thought that was really strange.
I think unironically it might just be people that don't want to play those cards because they are annoying. Like people just don't want to play Lycavoid because it sucks to play.
Yeah, that's like the bow thing, right?
40% representation.
Yeah, it was to look at the stats, it was 40% of the decks total played the Werepup engine. 1% extra played Werepup, and I'm assuming old school Lycavoid.
Yeah. And I'm curious what the percentage of people that didn't play Lycavoid out of principle. Like I would have been one of those had I played in the event. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Honestly, in some capacity, I think that like Lycavoid was both the best and worst thing about the deck that I was playing Lycagon with or Lycagon with the Void Engine, and it was good. My build was very rudimentary. Trevor and I threw it together like the night before, and we're like, all right, let's run it. And it's like, I think with even some refinement, the deck is scary, the deck is good, but the worst thing that you could be doing was Lycavoid. Which sucks to say, because that also means that, like, I just quote unquote had this mandatory deck inclusion to make the deck weaker, but also, you know, it was sometimes a game ender. It was game determinative every single time it dropped. Perky, even I had a round against Perky where Perky went Werepup set 3, and it's like, all right, well, I guess this is our game. And then pass back to me. I go Werepup set 3. All right, this is what we do. It's just the crazy part about it. But I don't know. In a weird way, I do like Equilinx back. I do like Kinleo back. I think these cards are cool. I do think these cards are very strong. But
I think Kinleo in particular is too much. I think that there isn't a lot with Equilinx, but the ability for Hestia to go special cast Kinleo Nexus Pop and then hard ascend into like Leonite or something, or just go for a second Kinleo. Like I think that, I don't know if this is something that showed up in the premiere, but Bo, I think actually Bo might have played something similar to this, but Bo's Atlanta winning list that was like Hestia, Kinleo, Spark It. Like, you could just play that shit and it's nasty as fuck. Because you just say, all right, I'm gonna hand rep on a pop every single turn. I'm generating card advantage in like a really unfun way. Yeah.
I'm actually, Black Rose here actually makes a good point. Like, we don't need a ban list. We need more cards. I think we need both. I think that's kind of a good point to start at. But I think generally, I'm usually in favor of this is such a meme, buffs versus nerfs type of mindset. But Elestrals is pretty new. Elestrals does have a limited card pool, but we are starting to grow in a way where the balance changes are mattering along with the expansion, right? That's kind of the classic with like an early card game like this. But we definitely do need another ban list, though. Like, I think if we were to play another couple events in this same list with Lycavoid, as the format is, it's just, there's so many small things to adjust to infinitely make the deck building, the gameplay, and some decisions be a little more meaningful, in my opinion. Not less enjoyable for me personally, but I know for a lot of people that's not true. A lot of people just are also not very happy with like certain things about pace, certain things about control. So no, I think ban list is necessary, but it's more like, I think about like a balance list. Like it's not necessarily like trying to take away things, I guess is the best way of putting it.
I think that my hope for this is that there is a big shakeup, because I feel like what I hope today is what the last list should have been, is bringing things to a much more even playing field, because I don't think there's enough to bring everything up to the same level. So as a result, for things to feel balanced, they have to come down.
Yeah.
I would love for everything to play at the same pace and speed as iWooly, Lycagon, whatever, if we could do that. Like, some people might disagree with the fundamental pace of that, or the speed of that, which I can understand. I also would like the game to be slower, but if everything could be fast, I think that would be a fun thing to do as well. The issue is that they just can't do that.
Yeah. Everything's just not designed for that.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think this is also important to note that, like, I think in general, what happens with stuff like this is, we see it all the time, even before Lycavoid got brought back, it was just like, oh, here we go, more Frost again, or oh, here we go, Solar again. And it's like that was kind of the sentiment for a little bit, is these decks that ultimately, I don't know, maybe more interesting than just, you know, a Blistrix or a Lycavoid stuff. Still, people particularly aren't very happy about the like overrepresentation of certain strategies, Lycagon, more Frost, etc. But yeah, I think right now it's kind of a hard position to be in, because then you don't want to revert the game back to 5s. I think that's something that I personally I wouldn't want. But
yeah,
I think that there's a nice mid ground that we can reach. fives with actual game plans, because that's kind of like what Lockagon has become in the post Tadpuff to 1. Most people are just playing the Aphro stuff at this point.
It's weird. Like I don't ever know if we're gonna go back to a 5s game state, or like where good stuff pile is like the best thing you can be doing, just because game plan decks have gotten so much better. Like I look at like the Hestia deck, I look at Hermes, and I think that they would wipe the floor with a 5s deck in a heartbeat, just because of what they are allowed to do compared to like a good stuff pile that plays every element together.
I think that there's two distinctions between 5s as like a general game plan of
Pull up the chart.
pull up the chart, because there's 5s in the good stuff deck archetype, and there's 5s in the like what has had a bunch of tops at the last event, Aphoros. Like I think that that's pretty close to 5s. If you're just playing like an efficient and kind of wide 5 stat line every turn, and then using interaction to make sure that going wide is like, you could argue that Morfrost is a 5s like deck, because it goes wide, it plays around the 5 stat line, and it just uses cheap removal and cheap guys to continually put up pressure.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the thing that, and that is definitely giving verbiage to, I think, at least for me, my issue with that sort of gameplay is it feels like then the best thing to be doing is just like control, which is cool. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I just think that the type of control is uninspiring from a like 5 control the space with, or control the tempo with shield PTAs. Like I think that makes sense for early Elestrals, but I feel like we've moved past that to doing more interesting things. I would like to see if control decks were to be like more prevalent or just good, they do different stuff. Like Heal, I think is a great example of like a control deck that is like adds a lot of variables and interesting mechanics that Elestrals has unique to it, versus just Beater City. And that's, I
miss her so bad.
It's sick. I do hope on some level, maybe like with Sunstrike, maybe with future sets, that Heal can come back in a capacity. I think that'd be kind of neat. Heal stall. No, Adam, it's control. Damn it.
I know. I won every single when my top 4. I didn't go to time. I went to time exactly one time.
Because it's heal aggro.
Tracking, and that's hard. Yeah, it's heal aggro.
Waiting for the day the game becomes power crept enough for people playing decks like 6s or 7s. So true.
Oh, maybe 7.
6, 7.
6, 7. It's, you know, funny. It almost happened. I'll tell you that. So there's like the one thing that I think is really interesting here too, by the way. So Lycavoid and Werepup were obviously big standouts for the like top represented Elestrals from the last premiere. The premiere before that, we saw pretty much the exact same cards, just with like some getting boxed out because of the hyper inclusion of the pups. We have cards like Synectar, which has been there. Galaxy's still there. Obviously, the Aphros package is still there. Lavalith and Spectaris are all still there. Which else thoughts on like stuff that's not specifically Pup Void? Like either represented or not. Like, is there engines that we're hoping to get hit or adjusted? Like, what's else take? Frost?
I'm gonna pull up my tweet. I want that entire list. I want. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards banned.
I need to pull up your list. I can't remember what you.
So it's Lycavoid Champion banned. I want Nog banned.
Yeah.
Farrageist, Chronodile, Eruption, Solar Burst, Resting Your Lure, Cedar Soar. I want all those banned. Limited is Asprowl. I have Iwooly on here twice. My bad. It's only
Stellar Kristoff, by the way. I would say hi, Stellar Kristoff.
Kinleo and Frostfall Lockagon all to 1. And then we can unlimit Viscerus and Batform. And I think the argument has been made. I think that we can put Lycanform to 1 instead.
That's a good mention. I think
100% Lycan should go to 1.
Rhoda is ridiculous.
It's like Rhoda's ridiculous, but
someone
like
mute Cobalt. someone prevent him from sending chat messages.
I don't know what the Lumaru list is. What's the Lumaru list? Is it every card turns to Lumaru? We're in Lumaru format. 15 Lumaru's counter runes.
Wait a minute. Never mind. I get down with that. Also, ban Winjin. I agree with that.
I've come back around. Okay. Kevin's not here. He's streaming or doing something productive. So I can say this, and he can't get an ego about it. I have come around to the Kevin theory of ban Winjin, and I'll tell you why. It's only because, and I think the card's good. I think the card's cool. Yes, it's committal, yada yada. It's just the fact that when it resolves, when Winjin resolves, it's just disproportionately affecting the game. And I think that's my line, is that stuff like that says, oh, when resolve, it's just an auto win is, or close to, is very hard to justify.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of cards like that that just need to get hit. So unless anyone has any other cards that they want to see hit, I'm curious what y'all don't want to see hit, because I feel like I've got a lot that I'm really worried they're gonna hit that they shouldn't.
Worried that they're gonna hit.
Circle of Sky Band.
Don't
True.
Get those 15 printings out of here.
Honestly,
We got CTS format. We don't need it legal.
this is one that they I don't know if they'll touch, because it's been such like a hot button issue before, but I really want them to. And again, I've come around to it, but it's only in like the worst way. Eruption. I think that like this is like I talked to every burn player. I talked to Wind Ascent earlier. I'm like, a titled form would be kind of cool. I think there's like room to grow on this idea. We have Boltuga. We have what's the like we can search it out, the new small Tuga. We can add it back with like a bunch of different Elestrals. What's the grass Vesuvatuga? We have like we have different builds that I would like to see prosper in the sort of burn realm. And I think Eruption kind of limits a lot of stuff to like either too good splashability instead of fire, or you're just forced to play like old school crack. And I don't know. Like,
I do hate that Eruption is very much just an auto 3-of in every single fire deck, just because you have to.
That too. Yeah, that'd be kind of. I think that I don't know if again, it's been this way for a while. It's just something that is going to be out there until it isn't. But I'd like that on some level. And Unk back. They need to bring back Unk.
They should bring back Unk. Thunder is about to be the best fucking thing you can do in this game, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with it. Things that they won't hit, they'll leave. I don't know.
Oh, like are we talking like more unhits?
More unhits or moron hits? which because we can talk about both.
Solar.
It is noon.
I think
it is noon.
It's noon. Oh, yep. Yep.
Oh, geez. Wow.
It's an ad.
January is supposed to be boring.
Sorry.
Pay for premium. Better pay us.
Great list.
I had my ad block on. Playback speed.
We're gonna fast forward.
Kevin.
Yeah. Kevin Tech. He's not here in voice, but he is here in spirit.
Oh, sorry, the ghost of Kevin.
So we have 80 seconds. So yeah, you talking moron or more unhit?
More unhits. More unhits.
Okay. I don't imagine they're gonna be unhitting things a whole lot this list. I don't imagine anything other than Viscerus is like a
yeah. Will we get the Viscerus unhit?
Ban Adam. I agree with Perky. Let's go.
Brew bars.
I'm gonna turn off the other two. All right.
I don't know if I can hear the audio from the
stream. I turned it down super low.
Okay.
I'll turn it back.
I don't know
up.
if I could hear it beforehand either.
Okay. I can turn on captions too.
Oh, I could hear it.
Okay. I'm just deaf, maybe.
All right. Banana list time.
I'm like nervous.
Dude, me too. I really feel like this is a very big make or break moment.
Is this the 1 hour
game,
video?
Honestly.
It could be. It could be the 1 hour video, actually.
Oh,
Finally.
geez, yeah.
That's the best part about this being a premiere. We have no idea how long it's gonna be.
Hello, casters, and welcome.
Oh, I think it is.
This is a bit of a different video
Hey,
than we
yo.
normally do, but we're here to give you an update on the Tartarus ban
Hat's
list in the
banned!
Elestrals card
Fuck.
game.
No!
I'm Ben, but you probably know me as Ridiculous Hat. That is my online brand, and also who I am in the Discord as the community director for Elestrals. We're here to tell you how we're banning cards, what we're doing, how we're limiting stuff, all the changes we're making. And I'm here with a very special co-host. You may know him, Dan A Drive. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm actually doing really good. I'm excited about this new format. I think this podcast style video is going to allow us to get into a little bit more of the nuance and you know, kind of go into a little bit more of not only why we're making decisions, but how we got to those decisions. And I think it's going to kind of be a new step for Elestrals in terms of the dialogue that we have with our community. And I'm super excited to chat because it's fun. We've done this a few times now. We've had a lot of chats over the last few days, and we're going to do a lot of recapping of the things that we found and the conclusions that we made. So I appreciate everyone's time today and watching this, and I look forward to a really healthy discussion as we move forward.
Yeah, we've been trying this out, and really the whole team has been hard at work at figuring out how we can make sure that we turn Elestrals into the best game that it can be. Now, we should probably address, hey Dan, what are we doing, and why are we doing it now? Because we just had a Banlist update, what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, sometime in December, I don't remember when, but it was not that long ago. We released Lycavoid, and now we're here with another update with a whole lot of stuff to talk about. Walk us through how we got here and why we're making this change.
Yeah, so when we launched the live stream format, we saw a lot of developments that were really positive for the game. Game plan decks becoming a focus, some really cool combo strategies, and as always, we're listening to feedback and monitoring results to kind of keep things more in line, shake things up from time to time, and ultimately try to deliver the best gameplay experience. And when we approached this most recent list of releasing Lycavoid back from Tartarus, we thought we were actually doing a good thing to create more diversity in the game, but ultimately it seems we missed the mark there. And you know, like I said, our goal is always to take in community feedback and try to make the best game we can. And after taking in player sentiment and seeing some games take place, it seems as though we missed the mark a bit in terms of how we wanted to turn live stream into a better format for people. And I think one of the conclusions that we made in our discussions coming out of the reactions of our most recent ban list was like, we're so close. We really feel like all the tools are there. So how can we kind of take another stab at this and really optimize a little bit better to give you guys a better and more fun game that I think aligns with the expectations of Elestrals players. So that was kind of the heart of it. You know, our intentions were always good, of course, and we did test and make conclusions based on that, but it seems as though we missed the mark a little bit on a few areas.
Yeah, we are committed, of course, to trying our best and making sure that we don't shy away from taking risks, but unfortunately, looking back at the results of the last ban list, some risks are just a little bit too much. We had some very soft nerfs to decks, some soft limits, but some pretty heavy unlimits that ended up distorting the picture of the format. We ended up underestimating exactly how Lycavoid would warp game plans, and generally speaking, we did say that we were happy with livestream being a faster format, but we aren't this okay with it. It's a little bit too fast. The game is a little too much on a knife's edge, where a lot of the question is,
Very happy to hear
turn
that.
1, turn 2, do you have the Gorgons? Do you have the answer? Do you hit the threat? And it's a little bit
of go fish, I guess, is kind of their
short
issue.
of a window for players to feel like all the cards they play matter. And it ends up keeping the format from allowing the really cool live stream game plans we created to exist, especially after there was some in the previous
I'm
ban
gonna
list that
turn
we
it down just a little bit.
attempting to
How do you underestimate that, though? I'm assuming it's how do you underestimate the Lycavoid impact is what you're saying?
So, and I
Or
do
is
wanna
it more,
emphasize,
how do you
if
underestimate like the
you
speed of
enjoy
the format?
The Lycavoid format, if you enjoyed playing it, you're not wrong for feeling that way, but we ended up hearing negativity from folks we don't normally hear from at all. It was more pushback, more concerted, more universal, of people saying this isn't quite what I signed up for. It's not always just about balance. Even though Lycavoid didn't win the last event, we heard from players they were having trouble having as much fun.
Yeah, I think you touched on a lot of really key points there. And one thing that I just want to take and kind of mention is like, never is Elestrals sitting here and just...
Sorry, Dan, I'm gonna turn you down a little bit. How do you underestimate like what impact most of the community caught it into immediately? So this gets into like a really difficult question with both like testing and then also with like intention. I don't know exactly if it's like a grading criteria of how the generally how the Elestrals team tests. We don't really know how that process works necessarily, but what would probably have to happen is that they test it, they bring it back, and in the like pocket scenarios in which they are bringing it back for, let's say, Lunar, because it sounds like what their intention was to buff Lunar as like a deck, but not necessarily. And then I think this is where the underestimation comes from, is how splashable is that in other strategies? How does that impact like the other decks that even aren't playing the pup? Lycavoid and Werepup are definitely, and is as an engine, is definitely like a you must be this tall to ride this ride sort of thing too. It's both a skill check and a game determiner. So I think that's probably the part that was missed. Not necessarily the card's powerful or that the card would have impact, just maybe like, hey, we're gonna bring this back for Lunar, without recognizing that it's like, no, you could put this in everything. So I think that's probably what was missed ultimately. But
a lot of cards I feel like release and seem like they weren't considered in a broader context. Like I do not think that the Aphoros package was ever considered outside of Aphrodite. Just like it doesn't feel like it was considered in that context with how it's been playing.
Yeah,
I think there's also completely a world that like Lycavoid was also completely fine if the Lunar Eclipse wasn't printed, so now it's good going first and second to break boards. I think that like with it just being full moon, I think that there is a world that Lycavoid actually might have been okay.
Yeah, that's definitely like one thing about it too that I've thought to myself, like if we don't ban Lycavoid, do we ban Lunar Eclipse? Just as like a formality of bringing back the wolf. And it would definitely curb the power level. Would it still hurt like on turn 1? Yes. But it's definitely the going second, I think, that gets you with the speed of the game currently. So I don't know. I think that's like maybe what my other thought about Lycavoid right now is that maybe we just ban Lunar Eclipse and we say like break the board. But maybe even that's bad. I don't know.
A good way to frame it as making sure that we have a high level goal of spirits mattering again. And so we're keeping the game plans, but we're not trying to go back to a good stuff meta. Some of you more entrenched players.
To summarize, I think what Dan was saying there, because I was kind of reading it, was that the TLDR is we've come to a point where spirits are starting to maybe not matter as much, and they're looking to reclaim that as a mechanic and a
This is an
thing.
emergency speed ban list. So we have to make sure that we're intentional about the messages we send and about the changes we make. And we have two things that really stand out to us in the current format that are overrepresented. There are hyper-efficient threats, and there are cards that either create, compound, or both repetitive game states. If we end up having
That's
really
my
fast
big issue.
Ascensions, especially
It's
twos,
repetitive
that come out
gameplay.
quickly, stay in play.
It
due
sounds
to
like we're
being
actually,
well protected,
like,
or they
I know
just come back
the
over and over again.
The buzz has been this is going to be
That's
like
a tougher game to enjoy.
a list,
so we
like
looked
a
very
large
closely,
list.
and we worked
It
with
sounds
our
like it.
testing team. We worked with
Because
internal
I don't know if
stakeholders,
Lycavoid
other
specifically
cross-functional
touches
teams,
all those things.
to make sure that we were fully understanding
That's
the
kinda-
impact of what we were doing.
It
why
implies
we
to
were
me
doing
that
it, and our
like
logic made sense.
like
Now,
repeatability
future
currently
bans
is like
hopefully
I
won't
will
be this
like
large
lock-on
and
is no
won't
longer
be this
repeatable.
fast.
So
But hey,
that's the only thing
we're
I
here
can
to
think
do
of
whatever
that
makes the most sense for the
indicate
team here.
repeatability.
That's the important part.
I wouldn't say
Yeah,
the
I
Locagon's
wanna
not
say, too, this has been a
repeatable.
great
Like
learning
you still
experience
get
for
to
us,
do
and,
the
I
thing.
wanna highlight
Like once
because
it's
the
established,
emergency
if you don't
nature
break
of
it, you do
this
it again and
has
again and
caused
again and
us
again.
to
I
enforce
mean
us in a
that's
lot of
really
ways
what
to
I mean by
rethink our
repeatable
approach.
is
And I
being
think
able
that
to go from nothing
the
into it
strategy
a
and the
second time.
approach that we took for this emergency
You have
ban
Tad
list
Puff once.
is one that we can utilize.
Oh,
to
and
make
if I could
better
just say too,
decisions in the
RIP to
future,
the El
but
Paso
over a
regionals
larger
recently. Y'all had to play
period
with
of
the old
time,
list.
which I
Lamau.
think will be to the benefit of Elestrals. So, I'm actually
Everyone has to
really
play with the old
excited
list
about
technically.
our approach
I'm pretty
and
sure
just our
that
structure,
all regionals will
and
still be played
I'm
under the old
really
list.
optimistic
Ooh.
about
Because it doesn't go into effect until the 19th.
in the future, just in terms of how we approach the balancing of the game. I think we're going to be in a much better spot.
I don't even know if that's something you can
to
gentleman's
look
out of. That'd be
forward
something to talk with the judging
Ben, I
staff
think it'd be
over.
really helpful before
Yeah.
I don't know if
we
you can
dive
gentleman's into a
bans.
new ban
Take
list.
a moment and
It would
just
definitely be
define
something
what
not
is our, what are we doing
allowed.
when
I
we
had
ban
a
card,
similar
what are we
conversation with
doing when
Skyhawk
we
really
limit a
early
card,
on, where I think
and
it was
then the
like
very rare semi-limit.
it was something
Let's
where I was
talk
like,
a little
hey,
bit about
there's a new
kinda
ban list.
how we're
There's a
gonna approach
local
those
event we're
and what our
doing.
criteria is there, so we can kind of set the stage
Can we
for
play
why
no
the
ban list? And he was
cards
like, you
are
could,
moving
but
and
we
being adjusted where they
it
are.
wouldn't it would
Yeah,
be
that's
for
a
no
good point.
pricing.
Thanks,
kind of
Dan.
thing.
And we've
like, oh,
really
okay.
heard a lot of questions every list update of, well, why is this a limit? Why is this a ban? What constitutes if a card gets limited or
So they're talking
banned?
about semi-limits,
So
implying
we're
that
gonna
there's going to
tell
be
you.
a
We're gonna
multitude
explain
of
it,
semi-limits, I
because
feel
a lot
like.
of the testing that we did actually helped shape and define what
I
we
would
do
I would
for
like the
this list
counter
and
runes
for
to be
future lists
semi-limited
in terms of
personally,
what a
but I know it's
card
like a
Honestly,
pipe
yeah.
dream.
should get in terms
No,
of a
I
ban,
agree.
a limit, a semi-limit, or an unlimit.
I
We have
disagree.
all of those for you today in some quantity. So first, let's talk about bans.
Need a ban
because
shield.
We
Oh,
have been a
are we
little
at it?
more hesitant to
Okay, here we go.
fully ban cards in the past. That changes today.
Ooh,
Lock
baby.
in.
Let's go!
Oh.
We have
Oh.
8 bans on this list.
8
So,
bans.
When we're talking about a ban, we're talking about a card
Got
that
8
we
racks.
don't think is healthy for Elestrals in any amount. We have some cards in this list that we tested at 1, and it felt really impactful when you got lucky and saw the card
You're
early.
gonna ban I
Or
will.
it was still really impactful if you went and looked for it with a searcher.
Oh yeah,
So,
the elephant is.
If a card stands out,
It should be
either if you
banned.
get it early, or if you get it late, or
I
if
miss-
you get lucky
I
in the middle of the
misspoke
game
it.
and hit
True,
it,
me too.
that tells us that maybe this card
No,
just isn't the
no.
healthiest thing for Elestrals.
I'm pulling up my
No.
list. I'm
There are
making
also
I'm making
some
a
hits on this
spreadsheet.
list
How many of
in
my
particular that
my
are
list is
focused on
correct?
design sensibilities. They may not be power outliers in the way that you expect, but they may just contribute to a part of the game that we want to de-emphasize, and we'll make sure to explain that to you.
I like
I
that
was just
that
gonna say,
thought
I think
process.
you covered a lot of those things.
Yeah.
And the thing I want to emphasize that we talked about in our last list is, at any point, of course, we can ban
It really
things and we
feels
always
like
reserve the right to
they
bring them
tried
back,
to change
or
their
Escape
philosophy
from
with the
Tartarus
last
version.
list,
That's
but, like,
something that we can do that's
missed
really
the
unique,
mark.
that's
So
fun.
now they had to like really,
So we'll
really,
just be a little
really
less
change their
hasty, I think,
philosophy.
on that next time.
I think and that's a good
Yeah, it's-
thing. The
we've
last
learned
one,
a lot about
philosophy was a
taking
good
the time and
step,
being
but it just
thorough
wasn't
about this.
specific enough.
Yeah.
We
I
have
think.
also learned a lot about what makes
As long
sense
as there's
for a
like
limit.
reflection being
So
done.
we talked about a ban,
like, I'm happy.
where this is a
Yeah.
card that it's crazy if you luck into it, and it's still strong if you get it later. Limits tend to be cards that even if you find it early, it might not be fully game defining. It could still help your game plan, but it won't be the kind of thing that completely defines the game from the jump. And we also expect people to go search these cards up. A limit makes sense when a card is really powerful in multiples, but a single helps aid a game plan in a healthy way. And that's what we hope you will see today. We have 1 semi-limit. Now, semi-limits are weird. We try not to do
So
them.
only-
I don't
only
think that
one
we'll do a ton of them in the
semi-limit.
future, but we are
One
exploring
semi-limit's
it a little bit.
interesting.
It can be for cards that have a lot of advantage if they compound in
What'd you
multiples.
semi-limit?
But also, we can use
I guess
this if
just
we want to
this.
explore a
It's just
change.
re-announcing
Maybe
this.
It's-
it was at
We
one.
are re-semi-limiting.
We're limiting.
this.
Or,
We're
like
semi-limiting
today, if we have a
Firestorm
philosophical
to
statement we want
match.
to make about the shape of the format to come.
We said the
Yeah,
OCD makes
you
me
hit the nail right on the head
uncomfortable.
there, and that's something I'm really excited about. We've kind of heard players' thoughts on semi-limits in the past, and we're going to use this sparingly, but I think it's a really interesting tool for us to look at. And one thing that I really like is the idea of, if we feel it's time for
I like
a card
PK's
to
message
come
in
off
chat.
the limit to
Philosophical
1,
bans? Oh.
rather than going full 3, there's an opportunity
They're
for us to
banning,
kinda
I think,
live in the
therefore
middle,
I am?
and that gives us a little bit of a buffer
No
to
way.
its impact at a larger scale. So again, we'll be very much so used seldomly, but it's a good tool for us to have in our tool belt. And I think you'll see today that we've put a lot of thought.
They need to give us some
into
names. They
the
just keep
one
talking around it.
semi-limit that is
They
coming
need
to
to.
the
So
Well, it's time
push-
to get into the good stuff, right?
they're gonna they're gonna do it
This is
now,
what
but
people are
they
here for.
they
Let's talk
need
about
they
about
needed to
now.
lay out the
Let's talk about
criteria.
the ban
I'll tell you
list,
that.
man.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah, they
let's
needed
just
to.
rip the band-aid off. I think
Yeah.
we're gonna
All of
just
that
start
I
off
like
here.
it.
needed to
We're gonna
happen.
talk about each one. Some cards we'll talk a little bit more in depth. But
I love the
Lycavoid,
little banner pop
It's
up.
not gonna escape
Yo!
twice. All right, listen.
Yeah,
All
We're
right.
just gonna
wow.
leave it.
Wow.
In its current title
Thank
version.
God.
There's a part of me that wants to
Shocker.
release the Lycavoid. Escape from Tartarus.
Me
Champion
too,
of
Dan.
Artemis,
I want
Escape
to
from Tartarus
leave it
again.
legal.
But,
Ban Eclipse.
yeah, we're gonna send this one back.
Honestly,
And
it'll probably be
this
fine
is a tough
next set,
one
right?
because
Like
this
we
is
can just
not-
bring it
Ah,
up.
yeah, right.
It's like too strong, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
so
it's
incredibly
just
format
one step too
warping,
fast.
and it's really taken us out of this whole really cool game plan sort of decks because
Again,
it
I
is just
agree with this
splashable in
take.
so
I
many
think it's
different
I think
decks
it is
and
not that strong, but
that
I do
is
think it's
not
a once
ultimately
again
worth
like
it
a
for
you
our
must be
life.
this tall to ride this
Now,
ride sort
we
of
also
card.
talked about
And
some bans
it's-
being
yeah,
for
makes sense.
design reasons.
It's
These
too
next
tall.
2 bans,
It's too
they're
tall.
friends, and they're both banned for both power and design reasons. In that
Well,
they
what are you
just
doing in the
play
official
a
chat? Get in
way
here.
That's a little bit too easy to bypass the rules of Elestrals. That's Tadpuff and Tadflow.
Okay,
Ooh.
okay, I
After
like that.
The first
I like
emergency
standing on
ban
business.
in Livestream where we got rid of Rise from the Ashes, among a couple others.
Good.
That Water and Frost
Yeah.
really started to dominate in many different ways.
I know
and the
Julian's
Tads
gonna
were
be real
always
beat
there
up
at the
about
scene
the
of every
Tadpuff
crime.
ban.
So the Tads
for sure.
show up when you want to bypass
It's sad
the
'cause,
normal
like,
cast rules of
They are cool
Elestrals,
cards,
and
but
they
damn,
don't
they are
require
way
any
too
setup, you just gotta
strong.
go get it.
Also,
We
now,
think
like,
that this
what
is
is
too
Lockagon
limiting in
doing?
gameplay, that it creates
Right?
too much variance, it's too fast,
I
and
think it's gonna really
these
struggle
elements have other
without.
ways to
I
get
didn't know
down
Zephrog was this strong.
ones or ways to get into his state twos, but
You
we
know,
need people to work a little
Caleb,
harder
you
on
say
this.
that like, what
Yeah,
does
and,
Lockagon
you know,
do
obviously
without
we initially
Tadpuff?
came
But
into
like,
these at 1, but we did
when
find
I
them to
played
still
the
be
lock
pretty
deck
warping at 1
the
after further
last premiere I
testing.
played in, so obviously
There's
that was
obviously
like
other
Lycavoid and
decks that
stuff.
have the ability
Like, I think I played
expedite
Tadpuff
that
maybe
process to
twice
Ascension, but
the whole day.
Specifically speaking, in
Like, I think
Water
Lockagon
and-
is still
and
going to be
Frost,
fine.
rather, it's been challenging because
That's
it's really
really
constrained
interesting.
design space in the future too. Tadpuff, I can speak to specifically, has been very problematic as we create new water-related 2 costs. It becomes very hard
Just
to
play OG
balance
Foamy.
those around the idea of Tadpuff.
Oh my
because it
God,
becomes so
explode.
easy to get these 2 costs out. And if you look at the spread of water 2 costs, there's actually so many that are viable, and Lockagon is the one that people are utilizing the most right now. But that lineup runs deep. That it really does.
I think what Dan's
of,
talking about
Capital
here
Champion of Aphrodite,
also
I think of
goes
Draken,
back to something that
and obviously there's new
that
ones coming too. So
the-
I feel really good about
that
this
Josh you said a while
one. I
back,
think
which is
kind
that
of removing
because
the
Foamy is in the
Saki
format,
this case
they
is
do have to be a little
really
more
a
careful
benefit.
on designing
And
water
like we
2
said,
drops.
I think both of these elements have
Yeah.
plenty of other things
Also,
that
hi, Ren,
use
hi,
in a
Miwa.
similar
Hello,
vein
good
to
morning.
still achieve what they're trying to achieve.
Yeah,
A4
I
being
would
a great
rather
example,
see Tadpuff go,
and Frost being a great example
and
for
let
Frost.
Foamy do its
those decks
thing,
have ways
and
to
not
kind
be
of
able to
get
turbo
the
out
same
those
thing,
2 drops
but a little slower
than
and a
hitting
little bit
Foamy
more, kind of
and
thought
like
out. And
having to
that I think is going to be
change
theme
the
of this
design
overall
space
list
of
is as
every
you-
single
as
water
you
2
start to
drop in the
digest all
future
the
because of its
pieces,
existence.
You're going to see Elestrals are
Yeah.
going to slow down actually quite a bit.
Oh, how
and allow
Fiber
players
access
more
card.
room to
How
interact,
will
get a little bit
Tadpuff
more of that
affect
back and forth.
LeBron's
That's something
legacy?
that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
The next batch of cards,
Yeah.
though, Ben, I'll let you take, and this is this
Surely
is
this
a
list
big
will make
statement
spiders
here, and I think it's
viable.
one
True.
that the community, many will be very happy with, and of course some will not be happy with, just based on their favorite decks. But I think this is a necessary step for us.
It's time for self-mill to go. So
Whoa!
we're going to
Okay,
ban
okay,
go,
go,
please.
go.
I Willie Champion of Kyone. And
Oh my god!
so I'll also note I Willie is a
Huh?
key target for a future Escape from Tartarus version. The card as
Oh, cool.
made,
I'm
it just does
very
a little
happy
bit
to
too
hear
much
that.
and
I
doesn't have
love
the
I
input
Willie
cost.
Champion of Keon,
It
but it
happens
is
multiple
way too
times.
strong.
It gets
I-
multiple ones.
I think I would
Anyone
like
that
this
stays
at a
down the
limit.
start
Is
does
that
not
is
need an
banned too
explanation as to
much?
why it's being,
I think
No.
that I Willie
we
at
did
1
test
it
this
just
at
feels so
limit to 1, and we
sacky.
learned
Like,
I guess
it
so.
was
Yeah.
on my
More
list it's
variance
at
is
1.
not what self-mill
That's because
means
I
to
love
be a
this
more
card,
fun
but I think
Yes,
that
for sure,
objectively
for sure.
putting
I
it to
think-
1
I
it
think
would
the
feel
EFT
so
version
sacky.
of I really makes a lot of
Let-
sense.
letting that
Like I
card
said,
get an Escape from
we haven't
Tartarus
tested it, to
version,
be
like,
honest, but
there's
a
so
world
many
where
ways you
it
could
only
do it. You
works
could
on
change it
cast,
to
or there's a
just an
cost
uncast, so
on
it's
that
not
cast,
every
or
single
maybe it'll
Yeah.
work on special
Yeah.
casts.
Give it a
Like,
I like
cost.
there's
that.
these different things
Like,
that we can do.
there
that
are
Hey, I
so
will
many
say,
things
this
that
is
you
a-
could
drastically
do.
reduce
This is a
the
card that could
repeatability
come
of
back
it or
one
remove
day.
it entirely
One
and
day.
make it a
Yeah.
more
It'll
fair
be like
card in
3
the
sets
future.
down the line, and
This
so
card is also
having one
challenging, too,
sooner,
when
I think,
speak about kind of
be really
constructing future
cool.
design space,
Yeah,
think
I
this
guess
is
that makes
just
sense.
a little bit of a miss on the
I
balance.
think
Maybe it only bring back
To
Champ
be honest,
Keons.
I think it'll
That
be
would be
good
really
to
cool
take
as
it
well.
out
It like
back.
motivates the Champ
Cedar
Keon.
Soar is an
deck.
interesting
I think they'd
one,
have
though,
to
Ben.
hit
We're gonna have
lock
to explain that,
effectively,
as
where
that
it's like,
card is a big brick
because
in
to
your
me
wall.
the idea is like if like
So,
repeatability.
and this is, I think
I think
a great
I Willie definitely is
example of-
strong
I'm
when
not
it
gonna call
hits.
Cedar Soar
It's more
silent
like
because it's
I
actually
think that
very
like,
loud
once you
when
get rid
it
of the
impacts
first one,
gameplay,
the problem. But
I think this
the
is
ban is fine.
more about
I don't know.
what we're looking
Cedar
to do
Soar's cool.
philosophically
This makes sense.
You
and
hit
what we're
one,
looking to
you hit a second one a
explore in
lot of the
terms
time.
of
That's the thing with
play
iWillie.
patterns in
Yeah.
terms of
I've
how
played
do
4
we make the
iWillies
game
in
more
one turn
fun.
before.
Cedar Soar, people call it the brick
Yeah.
whenever we talk about it. But it's
Cedar
a
Soar
card
is
that
definitely
if
one
you
that I know that
feel
Josh, like
obligated
when
to
it
put
was
in your deck
released, Josh,
with
you
the
were
purpose
like,
of raising
this
the
card's
floor
on
your
suspect
average
watch,
self-mill.
frame 1.
I Willie solved this by making
Yeah.
every card to hit. Too good. Cedar Soar adds additional hits no matter
I had a
what
lot
you're
of
doing.
discussions
It
talking with
rewards
Hat
a
actually
high
about
density of
Cedar
self-mill
Soar.
cards, but
Because
it's
all I could think about, and this is
variant.
just like he hasn't
Sometimes
been
there are
around
none,
since
sometimes
then,
in your
but
hand and you
there was a
lose,
point in
sometimes
time where you
flip
just
two
played
when
like
your
Morlith
opponent
Cedar
loses.
Soar, and if
But
you didn't
the
need to
player
go
agency
Blizz,
is really
you could just be
limited in
playing
terms of
6s and 8s
how much of a
beatdown.
choice do I have outside of
And I feel like
deck
people
building,
forgot about that
Firestorm.
really quickly.
outside of hitting
Shout
the mill
outs,
into chain mill after
Firestorm.
chain mill.
Yeah.
So,
Shout outs, Firestorm.
Cedar Soar will mean
No,
if you
I
still
agree
want
with
to play
Mag
the
here. I
Blister
agree
slot,
with
we're leaving that
Jubilee.
fully intact. Snow Lit at
I think that's
3,
Yoku
Afro 3,
actually.
Blister 3. if you want to solve that puzzle,
Paleoth,
there
R.I.P.
is not
My
gonna
goat.
be
No.
any get out of jail free card. Any
I
free
can't believe they'd
4/6s
hit
or 6/6s
Centaur
if
like
not
this.
Glorious and
Y'all aren't ready for
Play.
ectoplasm on my
What
Blizz
was
list?
Stu for
Any
Centaur?
Ooh.
This is also about making sure that we don't end up.
If you play
activating across
Ectoplasm,
multiple ways
I'm gonna
to
lose it.
immediately send into
I
giant
think there's
free
also a
drops.
world too that like if
We just
Cedar
wanna
wasn't
make sure
just
that it plays. I'm not gonna call
so
this an
large
honest
on like
game,
the defensive
but that it
stat
commits
line,
to
that
Yeah.
this card
the
might
game
be
that it's
okay. Like
So
if it was
we
like
expect this will probably
a
have significant
1-3
competitive
or
impact
something.
on self-mill and blister.
Yeah, if it was a
I don't
lot
think it'd
closer
be
to
nearly as-
Ectoplasm
We're
stat
leaving
line,
that
you know.
ascension line
Yeah.
intact for people that want to explore it, and I bet it'll be really
Yeah,
fun for
Ectoplasm's
people
again one of those other cards that like in the future it's like, oh, this is gonna be a problem. But it's like stats do matter in the game of Elestrals. It's kind of another thing.
Interesting, but it's gonna have to lean in a little bit differently, and it's not gonna be able to go.
I would like an
wide.
Escape from
If you did,
Tartarus
it's
form
gonna
or
have
just a
to go
titled
tall,
Cedar
and you're gonna
Soar,
have to
like
commit to that.
champion
I
of
think
something
that'll
that's just
actually be
like
really fun for players who enjoy
maybe
that
something
without
similar
being
to this
unfun
effect. I don't know.
side of
That'd be
the
kind of
table
neat.
to the same extent
I think
that
the
it
big
currently
thing
is.
I
And
worried.
also wanna
I
highlight that,
in the past
the
worried that Escape from
self-mill
Tartarus has
aspect
led
of
them
Frost
to
is
not
one that
hit
we're gonna
things and not
continue
ban things they
build
needed to
upon in the
ban.
future,
So I would
in a
worry
way
that they
that is
do
more
make EFTs here that they don't really need to make
more,
because they can come back later.
you know,
Cedar Soar is
thematic,
also one where
and
I don't
I
think it's
it's
coming back
ultimately gonna
anytime soon,
you
but
know,
it definitely
result in
could
kind of
at
a
a
better
certain point
experience
if we
for
reach an
people. It's gonna be a
acceleration of the game.
game-plan-oriented
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
strategy rather than the
I'd be very
I'm gonna
hesitant
drop
on
this card, and
EFTs
I'm
for
gonna
all
hope
of
that
these
I
so
land the card I
far.
want. We're gonna
Other
give you
than
the
like
tools
I
that are
think
gonna help
I
you
Will
send the
Champion
cards you
Keon.
want to
I
be
love
able to
that
formulate a
card.
game plan
You
to
know,
be
I'm
able to
gonna be biased
execute
for it.
something
It also
cool
feels like something
by
that
the
deserves an
mid or late
EFT
part
since
of
it's a
the game. That's
champion.
what we're
Yeah, it's never
really
mandatory to make an
using
EFT.
to
Yeah, I think
sell
EFT was just
so,
kind of a neat
I
way
look
to
forward
like
that, and these hits
if it didn't fit
definitely have
thematically with
future impact
something,
consideration
or
as
if it
well.
like
So,
again we have an
that's
Elechic
also
already
worth
in
noting, and you'll kinda get
champ
the theme of
form,
that
so
throughout this video, is
I
we're
think
not
it's a
only making
cool
decisions for today,
like
we're also thinking,
design
you
back
know,
pocket thing to do.
not entirely,
Yeah.
but
I agree with
certainly,
that. And also,
Like,
hi,
I
Sarah, how's
Will
it going?
feels
what
like
does
a good
set look
example
like?
of
What does
that.
set 8 look like?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
can we set ourselves up for success with those sets as well? So
I'm really happy
really
that
good
they're
about that.
they're
Kinda
swinging
moving
here
along, I
though.
think
This
we
is
can kinda
awesome.
shift focus here. This next card that we're banning may be a surprise to
Oh.
some, but I think for many players that have kind of played in the top tables, I think this one is no surprise to you. But we're gonna take Tornadjinn, the genie.
Oh my god!
No way!
On this one, and I think this is one
They
I feel very
hate
confident
me.
in.
No,
Get him
crazy.
out of
Using
here!
some of the power
Good.
of
No!
Fuck
Not
this
that we wanna
card!
target
Get
specific
out of
things,
here!
but this will
That's
allow us
so
to
good.
power level
Ugh.
and reduce
Dude.
Oh my god!
For nothing.
frustration. I mean, this
Win
card
Jin
is able
ad.
to- you-
No,
Fail
you can
combined.
use,
dude.
customize
Dude,
some
no,
cards that just
no,
have
no. My vaguely
guaranteed
Middle Eastern
hit off of
representation.
Tornadjinn that can be
No.
very challenging for players to
Oh.
come back against.
Dude,
Kinda
this
concluded from the
rocks.
testing that Solar
Why not
really stood
Winjin?
out in our testing.
Like, okay.
There's
Tornadjinn
gotta be a
is.
reason.
This card is
I guess
a
they're
time bomb
explaining
for
it. Hold
decks as well.
on.
Just because as Fortell continues to extend, as more cards become titled variants, Winjin's frequency will only increase as players are able to forecast. what's
Locking in for
coming.
this one. I'm like, I don't.
And, I feel really good about this one. And I'll also mention, I've been told not to leak it, but I will also mention we do have a new Tornadjinn coming.
Oh,
In
okay.
Sunstrike.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's not nearly as busted. It's pretty good, but it's not nearly quite the same power level, and that'll allow it to still.
I still
work
feel like with
alongside
another
Winjin. So
Tornadjinn,
Winjin
Winjin's
is
gonna
gonna
be
be ascension
insane.
list for
Like,
some time here.
let's be honest. I think
Trevor,
it'll still be
we are
really
so
crazy.
back. We are
That'll
so
be,
back.
a little
Catch me
bit
up. We're so back. Lycavoid banned, Tadflow, Tadpuff banned, Cedar Soar banned, I Will E banned.
Both the immediate
Asian
and
band.
sustained advantage, especially if it sticks,
No,
and it's much
like, I am-
faster and
Okay,
it
but like
just
realistically,
swingy
in a
than
world that
many
we are
things
trying to
that
slow down the
Solar
game,
otherwise does. Now, Solar actually
Like,
wasn't
like,
really
all these
performing
hits
much in the last
are-
couple of formats ever since the rise
are
of the Alpha
insane.
Span, but
Solar was going to
many
go
players,
on top
especially those,
if they
the
didn't do
top
something with it. And
competitors,
Winjin is
kept
the thing
telling
that
us,
puts Solar
it's gonna come
well.
back. It's gonna come back. It's right
And
there. It's a very
Justin had like a
good
build of
card.
this deck where it was
We
just
did
like
find that
hard to send
Justin,
Tornadjinn was your win
Winjin
con. It
does
wasn't even that you
is
resolved
garbage
Tornadjinn that often or Winjin.
and
It was
Oh,
just
yeah.
the hardest end, and it was good.
Was it the Hermes Tornadjinn deck?
It was the
Or, like,
alias thing.
Aeolus?
Yeah, you played
Aeolus Tornadjinn, yeah.
the fucking whale. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
These
That's
second
hilarious.
order changes
It was
that
really
are
cool.
impacting
It was
decks
really
that
cool.
might have been behind
And I think
the
I kind
curve,
of
might
I
have
think
been
that's maybe why I didn't like the
changed,
like
but
Winjin
are
ban. You could still leave that
playtested
strategy an
well
option, but it makes sense. Tornadjinn is too big, and if we get a title form, cool. Neat.
Tornadjinn was one, and Lavalith was another.
Lavalith, man, yeah!
No, wait. What's Fire gonna do?
Oh,
Fire has no boss.
That's so good. I'm so. This should have been banned when it was first limited, honestly.
Number one, by the way, number one.
Literal
representative.
number one.
Increased over the course of live stream.
I do want to shout out Hat was saying that
originally
in
meant
their
to
testing, their
flip
team
boards
found
and
this
come from
card
behind, but
after
it
all
ended
the
up just being a
bans
really
to be
powerful
very
tool
strong.
that is
So
especially oppressive against frontline strategy.
that's awesome communication.
Lavalith is
That
one
is
that,
great
you know,
information to know.
I think when I look back on it, it conflicted
I'll
entirely
look back
with
on
game
it.
design. If I were to redo it, I'd probably just have it target face downs. I think that that's a much better
True.
approach, and maybe there's a world
So
where
EFT
a
Lavalith
target
targets
version
only
comes
face
for this
downs.
card.
Equilink
Incoming.
should have targeted face
This
downs
is
too.
about Divine
Just
for
saying.
sure, right? We've talked at great
We
length
agree.
on dedicated desire for
But also
Divine
still would be really
strategies
bad.
to be a focus of the
Good hit, good
game.
hit, good hit. Yeah, this is
Block. There's
this
lot
is
of
like a
things
weird
that come from
necessary
Divines
evil
being
thing
on
to
the
hit, where it's
field,
like
and it's not just that.
Lavalith,
I think we've kind of
it's both
identified
in
that,
stat
you know,
and
in live
effect.
stream,
Lavalith is just
is
like
always online.
just
This
like
card
it's
doesn't
always
really
live. True.
have a Divine just
It's
the sheer
it's
amount of
just
units
like
that
Lycavoid in a way, where it's the
Lavalith is
spirit
incredibly
investment's not that
strong
high.
type of card.
If you see it, you
Archetypes
usually
just
win,
included that
or you're
the
so
first
far
version of
ahead.
Lavalith was generally winning, and that
I don't know. Wait, Unk is the best lith now.
and I know
True.
that
This is an Unk buff. Yeah.
it's
True.
almost
So
like
Unk
you
can
can't
still
play
win.
the game the way you want to play it, because if
Wait.
this one card shows up, then it
Hold.
completely derails you, and that I don't think is a good thing. Now, obviously, there's other ways to remove runes, right? When I think of Gloombat and Peak,
Rip my stellar Lavalith.
but they also don't come with a safe body, so you know, it's a little bit different, I think, and I think that that'll be
The number one
The
Lavalith.
hell am I supposed to do with this stellar Lavalith now?
players. Our next card.
You're telling me.
The most
The hell?
one. It's our final
Man.
one, but I actually feel really good about this. And I think
I
this
had
is
the
a
number
strong-
one
very
Lavalith.
strong
It's
commitment
over.
for us
I had
to
half of mine. I was like, you know
slow it
what?
down a little bit.
This is like a one of. I only have
Getting
one.
Nectar of the
I'll need it.
Gods,
Oh,
so-
wait, hold.
Yeah!
Thank God.
Man.
Huge.
I called this card out in our Banlist video. This card needed to go. This card's just being played in
Oh,
everything.
okay.
Eat the Lavalith, true.
So I think that's
Um,
all the bans, right? Didn't they say 8? That's been 8?
You said all of them? That's what? Lycavoid, the Tads, Ivory Cedar Soar, Lavalith.
Tornadjinn, Nog. That's 8.
Nog.
Yeah, that's all of them.
Okay, Tornadjinn. Yeah, that's all 8.
Okay, so I feel like they have missed some really big elephants in the room that will need to be addressed. Chronodile new best deck unless the next hits somehow hit it. Like that deck is crazy and it is functionally unhit.
And I recall, you know, myself playing through games where my opponent goes Nog and they draw into another Nog. And they're up in so much advantage at that point. It's enough to try to get through a back row in the first
Pepper,
place.
you don't
But when they have
understand.
that
You
much
can
extra
still search
advantage in terms
Sippy
of
Cup.
cards, it becomes very difficult to even have a chance. in a
True,
game
you
like
can
that.
search Sippy
Not
Cup.
to mention, again, the ability to string together these pieces that can go so tall or so wide so fast.
RIP
and
to an
then have
era.
all those extra cards to back them
So,
up. It just
but I
makes
guess,
for
like,
what I think is an
Technically, like the
undesirable
Nectar
play
hit
experience.
does
So
also curb the
what I'm really looking
consistency of
forward
some of
to
these
is
like
taking
tower
Nectar of the
decks
Gods
like
out of the game is
Chronodile.
the fact that there will be more of this
Also,
back and
or
forth.
like some of
Each
these
those
super
cards
unfun
is going to
strategies are
matter
just
when you
trying
draw
to
them.
see.
You're gonna have to
I
really
mean, like,
be
rip
strategic about how you
Trifernal.
position your Elestrals and-
Yeah,
and
well,
which
Trifernal was
runes
dead
you
after
use
the
and
healing.
when,
I'm
and
pretty
how you
sure.
can
This is
generate
a
those
hit
advantages.
to
You're not
like the
gonna be
Bear
able to
Bomb
lean so
Turbo
heavily
deck,
on this card
Mhm.
that's just
Like,
spinning your deck and generating quick advantage.
which
I also
This
think
is a hit
that
to
we'll see
Cryolink.
some other cards, some other draw
This
cards.
is a Cryolink.
Elestrals generally. See a
Not
little
my
bit
pot
more
agree
about
again.
those
True,
cards will
Jay,
have, A
true.
lot of opportunities to succeed, but those are interactable, right? Those cards have more interaction.
Rip
windows.
Scorch.
Nectar of the Gods generally,
Scorch is still powerful
nobody's-
on its
is
own,
running,
but also, yeah, Nog will
let's
definitely
see,
help
is it-
curb
is
some of
it
these
what,
decks that are just like,
intervention?
I can afford this
Nobody's
experience.
running Divine Intervention,
Yeah.
right?
This also
to
hits,
stop
like,
Nectar
the
of
new
the
version
Gods.
of
So
Solar.
This is a card that is just ultimately unchecked, and I think it'll be to the benefit.
Ooh, actually,
of
okay,
Elestrals
I don't know
to
about
slow
how to say
things
this,
down and
but
just take it out.
you know, Josh, we
Yeah,
definitely
this
like
is
talking to
something
the
that I
penthouse about
noticed.
this
I
right a
mean,
little bit.
I'm
I still think
listening
Bear
from
Bomb, like your
recently
old Bear Bomb
for
list, without Nog,
and
still
at
wipes
first I
whatever
thought
deck,
when I
right?
started
That's true,
playing,
right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, completely. They're not
Pretty
ready for
crazy.
it.
Deck, it's
Yeah.
really strong. Slower Firestream
I mean,
meta that wasn't
what,
always the
it-
case,
that
as
list-
Livestream has continued. We've
It was
seen
like
that reputation go
bands.
up and up and
I
up.
think
I'm pulling on my old Bear Bomb
Deck
list.
Personally, the games are not determinative of Nog. I don't think you resolve Nog
Oh no,
once. and you're
Lavalith.
winning.
Lavalith was also like the worst card in that deck.
Yeah.
Pulling back Omnis.
Like I
Being an
don't
Omni
think I ever
Now,
played
we're not
Lavalith
hitting
the
all those
entire
today,
day,
don't
or
get
like
too
when I saw it,
excited,
I had already
but this is the
resolved
last
Bear
game we
combo,
have.
so I
We'll
couldn't
start to get
Lavalith.
into the limits.
Ooh,
We're gonna
limits,
talk about
limits,
more
limits.
Frost first.
Okay.
This was a big
More
big
Frost.
piece of contention for
More
us
Ross,
going
as
into
the
this last
caption
list when we
said.
chose to limit
More
the bat form.
limits.
after further investigation, further testing, further kind of community sentiment, we got that one wrong. There was a better approach for us.
I mean, liking goes to 1 and then back goes to 3.
In a super positive way. And
So
I wanna
JJ
highlight that
JJ is
did
right.
identify based on
There's a short that A drives like, like my game has pot of greed. It's like a selling point. Oh no.
Okay, yeah.
Ooh.
I think this might have been the correct hit from
That
the
is the
start.
thing
honestly.
that
Yeah. Hits the splashability.
You want to do a bunch of more.
Frost doesn't get to play
You wanna
Chimera
do
in
a lot
every
of,
single
You
deck.
want to throw all the titles in your deck. You wanna
Cthulhu's
get the
right.
industry
Less
going.
Frost.
Oh, is so happy right now.
But what
Someone
we ended up seeing
find
is with
Bo.
the bat hit,
Tell her the good
it
news.
was the right thing to do to just run a small package of more Frost and then throw whatever other Frost cards you want in whatever deck you were doing, or do the Willy thing, or do the Cryo line. We wanted to see what it would take to make sure that more Frost was rewarded for doing more Frost, as opposed to every other deck rewarded
Like the
for
More
being
Frost
more
deck
Frost tourist and just
itself
swinging by
is playable.
just whenever
I'm
they wanted a
blessed. This is
5
awesome.
Scorpion. And I'll note as well, we did test the Chimera limit. It was devastating. It was way too much. We just wanted to see what we could do to.
I think
curb the
Chimera
deck
More Frost did
as
nothing
opposed to
without
kill it.
Chimera.
The
Let's
Chimera
It's
limit might have been
strong, but yeah,
devastating
it's
for
like
three.
the only
So,
thing it's got going for
We're
it.
moving to the Lycan hit.
Whoa.
It feels
More
like the right
Frost
thing
has
to
a
do.
win without
In playtesting,
Chimera. It
actually
would be
feels more
fine.
relevant than I expected, even for
True.
We gotta put you in
Unless
jail,
you're the
brother.
Keone.
We gotta put you in jail. I'm
And
sorry.
You're not going to have that second Chimera. second
Personally, I
back
don't
quite as
believe Josh
often,
deserves
and that
rights.
means you're not going to have that.
That might
4
be
to
me,
5
that's-
twos quite
Okay.
as often.
See, that
So,
this is a
impactful,
not to
felt
beat all the way.
relevant, but
This is
we still
I have to said there with like
players to be
they're not going to
fair,
have
but they
the search often. This is a good philosophical consistency of like if they're trying to hit repeatability, this is exactly right. Personally, would I still have loved Bat? Probably, but like this is a good through line.
We are going to be limiting Cryo Vern.
Okay, ooh.
Cryo to 1 is strange. I don't
No,
know
I
if
like
this
that a
makes
lot.
sense. Okay, explain it to me, because this doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, so okay, hold on. Let me just think about it real quick. So this going to 1, you can't do the Enfrostic Bring Back Cryoling thing anymore. If you do play the Cryolings in your deck, after you resolve the first one, you now have 2 bricks in your deck.
And we would see players go, you know,
okay.
Like I would never play 3 Cryoling. Well, it's not that I wouldn't play 3 Cryoling with 1 Cryovern, but like you deal with the Cryovern, you no longer have to worry about like the Enfrostic stuff. I think that this is good.
We looked at what it looks like to have a Cryovern at 1. And
I feel like
felt that the Vern
I agree.
I don't know, I
It's
guess,
weird for sure.
Yeah,
It is,
I don't
but
know
the
if
second
I'm
Vern that
sold
gets
on
you.
it yet. This is the second Cryovern that gets you.
It's true. I think
It really is though. Like
it's
so
also
many
like
times in like a late game scenario that they go Cryoling and then Enfrostic's back, get a second Cryovern, and like you just like die.
Your opening hand. And
Yeah.
it's a card you don't really want to see in the late game. If
Yeah,
you
Like,
I
you
agree with
easily
Ren. This
could
is a
have nailed the
Cryling
first
semi-limit.
one.
Like, you still just play 2-1, though. Like, I don't feel like
think
that...
this is also
I guess it
a-
really... It hurts exactly the scenario you're talking about.
that's fine. It also it makes it like to
Which
where
has been happening a lot.
Cryo Ling is not as brainless. Like it's to put on my Kevin hat a little bit. Like there is some consideration that some of these hits are like you do have to pick and choose when you pull the trigger. And Cryoling was effectively like you could just do it. You could just do it like for no reason. You could be like, oh yeah, my last one got hit. Here's another one. And it's just like always it's always morally correct to have a 7 on board. So it's like I think that's a nice one.
Specifically, do we hate
That's the last
Frost? No,
Frost
of course
card.
we don't.
I like Frost.
So
That
Okay,
is-
so
I think it's
everyone
cool.
don't
Also
listen to
hit their
Hat.
mom.
They're saying they hate Frost.
get
They
it.
don't like Frost at all.
Check on your fems, everyone. Check on your fems.
Yes. So when you look at an emergency ban list and you put Lycavoid and Cryovern next to each other, those are not the same level
This
of
also kinda hits
emergency here.
more
I don't even know if we call the
Frost-ish.
Cryos emergency or not. But
There's
we
a version
have
that was
a
doing
mission
this stuff,
to
right?
make
Yeah.
sure
Tractor
that
just
we
banned me,
it's,
I guess.
some
Cryo
life
Rhino.
into the live stream format,
Cryo
some novel
Rhino.
diversity, some interesting developments, and to make sure
No
that
way.
it's not just
PK just
the same
asked what
stuff.
that Ling do.
Because what we find when we do
Yo.
a list is
Right,
that
though.
players are excited to brew and change stuff. It would be bad for us and bad for you if what we did instead was kill all the new cool stuff and you go back to whatever the old stuff is. The Cryo
That's
Frost
bars.
line,
No,
the Cryo
that's good
Scorch line
philosophy.
is really cool. And someday someone's going to find that stellar. Someday someone's going
It's
to.
gonna happen.
I bet it's
gonna
Okay,
be
you don't have to lie to him,
me.
Hat. You don't have to lie to
We're
him.
gonna find
You don't have to lie to him,
Um,
Hat.
It's cool. It's fun. It's also been
Yeah,
around for a
white
long
out
time.
unhit.
and has
That's kind of
been
scary.
a part of Frost decks whenever
like,
you're not sure what to throw in. You just throw
what
in
are
those 6 and then
you
probably the Lavalith because you're here already.
protecting
We want to disrupt
now?
that paradigm. We still expect to see some Cryo Burns,
Chimera.
some
The ones
Cryo
you
Scorches
love.
even. We still expect
I mean,
to see
like,
some cryo
if it's
inputs,
just
but
Chimera,
this
like,
is
that's
to make sure
fine.
that the best thing to do isn't just what
Right?
we've already been doing. And also, if you look real
Rhino,
closely,
true.
cryoing
Trevor, true.
is just Ella Chicken and Trench
Sure,
Coat.
but like,
It's just a 7 that
Right,
you get
nymph
out
specifically.
there without having to work quite as hard at it. It's a little bit too much. It's a little bit
Like,
too
I don't have to
efficient.
protect
it's
the
not
eye
on
wool
the same
anymore.
level as the cards that we're banning, which is why we're not banning it. We still want people to be able to do this, but you get one bite at the apple, and then
I
you
am
get an
sad
option
to come to the
explore new
realization
stuff.
that Blitztrix,
When we look
the
at the
only
frost
hit
hits,
was Cedar
most of
Sword.
them are pretty concentrated.
I thought they said
Self-mill
they were
is really
killing,
in the crosshairs
killing
here.
it. Like we
And
just
we
go back to
have
playing
more frost nudge.
the
and we have
prior
this
list
one
pre
hit to
Iowa, and that's
cryo
still
burn to
strong.
Streamline this package to make sure it
Yeah.
is not
Is
game
it?
defining in
It's
every frost.
yeah. I mean, it's still.
A slower game with the hits
Really
that they're
gotta
doing.
check
I think so.
more
Yeah.
frost.
Like,
It's still
assuming that
strong.
there's more hits to
like,
come.
what is there to hit off the mills?
Shifting gears, let's talk.
Shiver Enjoyers rise
That's
up.
bro, Blitztrix.
True.
True!
We're gonna lock them away. And this next hit is one that I think a lot of people won't be surprised about, and that is limiting Frostfall Lockagon to one
Okay.
copy.
Yeah.
The Aphrodite Lockagon
Explain.
deck is
Okay,
one that I
very
think
happy
Leon
about
on
that.
Suicide
great
Watch, unfortunately.
excitement and optimism for the future of Elestrals in the sense that
It's
you know,
the
we have this
repeatability.
really concise game plan deck that is able to execute on the thing that it wants to do,
Shouts
does
to
it with
Julian.
a level of power that can be really fun for players to pilot. But I think the challenge here is the repeatability of it. And
I
the-
feel like
the-
with
the
Tadpuff
freeness of it in a lot
banned,
of
this
ways.
might be too harsh on
Tadpuff
the deck.
expedited the process significantly.
Now, this
Locking
deck should
on
die.
Just taking Tadpuff out
I mean, it just doesn't-
doesn't feel like
I don't
play
know. I
enough
feel like it
to reduce
you're just playing
the power
Aphros
of
more
the
than you're playing
strategy.
Lockagon at this
We
point. Like, it
recognize
didn't
that
have any
Aphros,
results at the last
Magneros,
event.
Those cards are very strong. They're
I'm
gonna
kinda
remain
surprised
strong,
that we're just
and I think
gonna-
the top end of Lockagon being this-
Unless there's like an
Yeah.
Aphros hit here, but yeah, like Aphros is effectively just Tadpuff 2, and it's like there's
But it is better to just do Aphros control, Aphros beatdown than.
I mean, there's the deck I was running at the last event was just 1/1, one lock, one lock, and it's like, yeah, Fish Parade was enough.
Yeah.
Like it's still
Like,
good.
this feels like an overhit.
Yeah, doing like 1-in-1 Lockagon though is like perfectly healthy. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
have
good.
no issue with. I have no issue with them resolving like the lock combo once. It's when the second Frostfall Lockagon hits the board, and they do it again and again and again.
I do like what they're saying here with like effectively enabling cool things and Aphrodite soulmates. I think that's correct. Like you do have to
Yeah.
incentivize like I think for a lot of times throughout the history of the game, Terrace Hill Time true is that like there is a balance between what's the cool thing or what's the correct thing. And I think you do have to balance, like your players will not gravitate towards the cool thing often. They'll do it, but at an extreme detriment to their gameplay, which feels bad, and then creates this like bad feedback loop, right? It's a classic like why is Earth not the best deck? Well, you know.
Wait, I have a playset of Stellar Lock now. That's crazy.
Let's go.
Solar Burst.
No!
Yes!
No!
Oh my god! Oh my fucking
Huge!
god!
It is
Icarus,
able to
why?
get rid of pretty much anything on the field. Works really well with solar synergy.
This
and
is
doesn't-
so
It's not even
good.
that good!
What do you
Literally,
mean?
what are you talking about? Me when I'm lying? Me when I'm lying on the internet?
No, it's good. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
very strong, very strong, very strong. We have Nova Core. Like we still have like a non-target removal that's committal. This thing
Yeah,
is like
yeah.
this thing was
Still-
absurd.
And that's a
Still
2-card
crazy.
combo. Like
If-
yeah.
Without this hit, you could just play like a control, like 7-8 removal spell.
the
solar deck.
Using your solar burst to set up
To Yura's point, damn, I wish class functioned, but this list kind of rocks.
And it's a little bit more possible
Yeah.
to get things on the board. Solar still
This
has
list is
power, but
unbelievable.
this card felt
Horse?
impressive.
True! Horse time!
Time to play horse. Wait a minute.
We get to play the best version of Solar now.
Horse.
Horse.
And
they think I'm lying.
Me too. True. Hey, Hat. Hat, wait a minute. You're live. How are you doing this? I can see you typing there. Right there, look at
that. I'd probably reduce the foretell length, like the depth at which you foretell, and we would probably cost it a little higher, right?
I think the foretell depth is actually fine for Solar Burst. I do think it was
those are some good.
It's just the
lessons
fact
for
that
us,
it's
but I think
Earthquake practically in
that
most
it shows that,
for
you know,
one cost.
This is the direction that we're aiming to go. Is looking at
Solar does have an
This is how
identity
Draco
crisis
Ray-
right now, but like,
in elemental
you know,
removal
haven't gotten to
that
the semi-element
isn't
part yet. There
ubiquitously
can be two of
splashable.
me.
That's a really big pillar for
True,
us.
two
And
hats.
as new sets
Well,
and new cards come out, I think you'll see a lot
This is
more
how
of
Draco
that.
Ray
I
Dragalis
think
can
it'll be
still
very
win.
well
Up in Flames
welcomed.
about to be the
I
most
think right
profitable
now,
card of
Solo
all time.
version 1 makes a lot
Up in
of sense
Flames,
in the game, and
you
I think
know,
it'll help
eventually Up in
balance
Flames I
things
think will
out
be
quite a
limited
bit. I
too.
think Solar has so many tools that I can utilize
Yeah, I believe that.
certain things as
I
well, and
believe
good
that
call.
shit in a heartbeat.
I think
honestly don't
Dimax
think
proved
we're
that
gonna
card
miss
is
it,
still
to be
crazy.
honest. I think it's going to be a really welcomed balancing change.
There's a
The
really
next
fun
card,
Dragalis
I
list
think,
that
is
I built
one
with
that-
Up in
that we will
Flames. It
see,
was
people
it was strong.
dancing in the streets over.
Bring
Let's
it
talk
back.
about Eruption.
Let's talk about
Yes!
So,
Let's
my
go!
job and the reason why I'm here is because
Oh my
I'm
God.
the community director and
I
here
ripped
to
my shirt a
absorb
little
player
bit.
feedback and help filter
Oh
it and
my
use it to drive our
God.
decisions. I do not know if we've gotten more
Sorry,
player
win the
feedback
scent.
about any card than
It's over.
Oh my
maybe
god.
Lycavoid, I
Did
don't know.
it.
Eruption's a lot.
Oh
Now,
my god.
Eruption is
Oh
not
my
the same
God.
kind of power
Thank
outlier
you.
as Lycavoid, but in terms of playing
Thank
experience,
you.
it's pretty polarizing, especially
Dude, I
in
feel like they
multiples. I'm not
finally
sure if one
understand
Eruption by
the
itself
game.
is the thing
Like,
that
that's
people are
the-
concerned
that's the
about.
best way I
It
can
is
put it.
the
It feels like they
concentration
finally
of
get
burn
it.
spells, especially in the Krakatoa. The
This
burn
is
decks
like-
that have come around in live stream, where
I'm-
you have you have
Artemis.
the
Wow,
Christmas
Krakatoa
came
deck, you
late.
go search for
Yeah,
the eruption,
they
get
get
the
it.
Krakatoa.
Like they,
You
I
can
don't know.
take
I don't know
6,
what
9,
changed,
12
but I
damage
feel
all
like
in
there's
one
an
turn.
alignment
It
here. They're
ends up
banning
being a pretty
cards
significant
the
hit,
first
but
time
comes out of
meaningfully.
nowhere quite often.
They're hitting cards that people have been complaining about as unfun play patterns for so long. This is phenomenal.
Damn, we're so back.
Oh my God, Elestrals is good again.
We're so back. Okay.
It's been so long, Josh. It's good.
Eruption
so
is
long.
so funny because it's like, again, huge. The philosophical through line. I love to see it as a dirty, pretentious liberal, but like the thing about it is the second and the third that's the problem. It's like a one-time burn for this game specifically means that you are maybe taking 9 damage with the Krakatoa combo, but you're not then on the subsequent turn doing that again, and so like it's in line with the rest of the hits. It's awesome. You also don't have to. I don't have to wait and be like, how many cards do you have in hand? 7, and then my opponent goes, oh, how many spirits are you on? I'm like, 5.
Why do you want to know?
Yeah.
That's right. We gotta check in on Coder. Coder is probably fucking passed out in a puddle of white liquid right now. It's milk. It's milk. It's milk. He got really thirsty. He got excited and he choked a little bit. The paramedics are on their way. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay. It's not a secret, everyone. We're in a Discord with Coder. I cannot wait for when he wakes up or whatever he's doing right now to come back and be like, so what I missed? And then he sees Eruption and just, immediately just goes like, damn, this game, I can't wait to play this game again. And it's like,
I can't wait for him to see the Tornadian ban.
I can wait
he's
for
more
that.
passionate about that than Eruption.
We don't have to tell him every card. That way we don't see like the I was right come out. I don't want to.
Okay.
No.
Well, you're saying race to the top is
Okay,
still
so
limited. We are re-limiting.
That's not super surprising, frankly.
That is fine.
Evan?
How this feedback works, and I think we probably jumped the gun a little too much. It's always been the second Kinleo that gets you.
What was that, Kevin?
All I hear is, I can't wait to play this game again.
Oh my god. Finally, 4 Elestronauts.
Oh, yes, but
Oh my
First time
God.
in 2 years.
who knew it took the world burning for that to happen, or not burning really? Equilinx, RIP, Working Mothers, Kinleo.
Yeah, this makes sense.
Of running into that
Yeah.
1 or 2 times throughout an 8-round tournament.
They got Coder in for the
makes it
negative
so
dimension.
That deck is invalidated. You just can't do that. You can't
Drowning in
go
milk.
into a tournament with Hermes with equals at 3 and say, yeah, I'm gonna run my super cool Hermes tech.
So glad he's
deck
alive.
That takes a lot of skill level and all this other stuff. Because if you just run into Equalinx at any point and they drop that combo on you, you probably just lose. And that's not
I do like what they're saying here, and that like
I think that these
Equilinx
are
and
very
Kinleo
appropriate places for them
might
to
not be
right
super
now.
strong, but are representing
They're
like
both
they're
searchable,
boss
strong
monsters.
cards,
Like
you can
effectively,
throw
it's like you
back
drop them, they live a
into
turn, and then
your
like you
into your deck.
are probably
Cards like Small Two
like
Ghosts
it's
or
just
Kinleo.
incrementally
Fire has
over.
proven itself to be a really
Yeah.
strong contender with Hestia right now. So I actually don't think those decks are going to miss it too much.
That's
I
like the
think
really challenging
changes
design about like
across the board
Nexus
are
effects.
going to make these two staying at one
like
make even
you
more
assume that
sense
they
in my
should be a
opinion.
repeatable thing that you should be able to do
We're
every
gonna be in a
turn, but
really
when they're
good
attached
spot
to a
with these
removal
cards,
piece,
kinda where
it's
they're
like
going for.
it's
Yeah,
the removal
the
piece
idea
for
of
sure.
At Worlds,
Like
Yeah.
the Kamalis Search, the Exalter Burn. Like we have proven that Nexus is cool and good. Frigicub.
We're done with our
Frigicub. Hey,
We
CTS
have
staple. That card's
one
crazy
more
in CTS.
semi-limit here.
That card is crazy.
This is a
Oh,
weird
one semi.
It's a little strange.
Oh,
it's more.
okay.
It's more about sending a message. It does have a little gameplay impact.
More
Sending
about
a
sending a message.
Tell us about why we
Had
are
just
sending
pulls it
limited
in.
Ambrosia.
Yeah. So
What?
Ambrosia
Oh.
is
This does
our only
nothing!
summon, for this list, and I understand that this is a surprise.
No.
And we can recognize right now
The
that
only
average
deck
player is
playing
running
this at
2
3 right now is
Ambrosias.
Lycagon.
A lot of decks are not running 3 Ambrosias anymore.
Yeah, this is
if
just a
any
lock
at
hit.
all,
We don't
really
need a
only-
third
only
lock
very
hit.
Okay,
specific
so hold
decks.
on. They're-
Some decks are cutting
they're
it
saying that
entirely.
they already
So this is
know.
a card that again may seem a little strange, but what we're doing with this limit is a few things, right? There's multiple pieces of this. One, this is us taking a step towards us tackling the Omni Suite. We're looking at the invokes right now, but
They
this
should
is
have
a
done
step
shield if
towards
they were
that.
going to do that.
As we remove Nectar of the Gods and we look at these game plan decks still being effective, but the speed at which they execute and the consistency at which they execute being reduced,
Rise in the
cards like
Shadows
Ambrosia
stonks.
start to become more impactful, because the more of those you see, especially in a tight late game scenario where both players are digging for resources, it can be pretty game determinative in those moments. And I also think
It's also a
there's
dead card
there's a note
late.
here about, this is a very soft hit to Lycagon, right, by reducing some frequency there. But I think the main pillar of this is to reduce some of that Elestral Spirit color splashing and kind of the ability to say, you know what,
Got
I'm
some
going
notes
to
on
run
this
5 or
one.
6 different elements, and
Got
it
some
doesn't
notes on
matter
this
if I
one.
use that Spirit, because I'll just be able to Ambrosia it back.
I do not like
We
this.
found in testing that that one extra Ambrosia makes a big difference, and with us removing a lot of these other cards, Nectar of the Gods and some of these powerful runes like the Solar Burst and so on and so forth, there would be a tendency to just fill that last slot back with Ambrosia again, because we're slowing down the game a good
Ambro to
bit.
2 is to stop
So
bad
we're
players
gonna
playing
kind
it
of
at 3.
define that in a way
Cobalt, you're so
and say,
correct.
You can only run 2 of these cards right
The
now,
problem is you shouldn't be
and
playing
we
Ambro
think
at
that's
all.
going to
See,
further
Yeah.
help with the gameplay.
That's-
This is just a Lycagon hit. This is objectively just a Lycagon hit. They don't need it.
Remember back in the day when we were like,
Okay.
certain players that shall not be named were like playing Ambro at 1, and we're like, they're crazy.
Consistently without having to
This
affect the
is
list. And again, this is a step towards us looking at some of the
okay, I actually have probably very neutral feelings on this, because it's like, I think overall, every element has their quote-unquote Ambrosia. I do like an Omni Ambrosia, because I think the current Ambrosias we do have are, like, do limit some deck design. Like, you have to run Blink, you have to run Blink to enable for their deck archetype Ambrosias to do. I'll wax pro deck about that later, but like, but I think Ambrosia is interesting at the very least, but I don't know.
Unless-
You said this video was going to
Onk?
be 30 minutes, and I thought that was very fun
Yeah.
at the time.
We're at
and we're not
50.
going to hit
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna move
We
a little
are.
quicker here. All right, we'll just dive into it. Unlimiteds. We talked about Bat Form already. That's an easy one. Race to the Top coming off the list. I think that's going to be great for Thunder decks to have that.
Again, they're doing it again?
Doing it a second time. It needed. It's actually at
This
6
next
now.
card that we're
It's
gonna
at
play is
6?
Viscerus. Viscerus
Alright,
has
Viscerus.
been-
Yay.
Yay.
Okay,
We see other
cool,
decks
good.
doing-
The most
Viscerus
silent
already
golf
doing
clap
it.
from
We
all the
see
community, like,
the
nice,
fish, we
nice,
see,
nice.
more frost.
Well done,
There's a few
well
different
done.
decks that are already doing what Viscerus is doing, so we
I can
feel
finally
like
play
this
my
is an
playset of the
appropriate time for this
Kickstarter
guy to
full
come
arts.
off. He's going to be a strong card, obviously. It's going to allow those Earth decks another tool to be able to get at a second guy.
You think
But
that this
he goes
actually
into
does anything
defense, It's
meaningful?
going to require some setup.
It's
with
like a
madness
slight
if you
buff
wanna
to
get him into
Anti-Titan.
attack position in battle phase.
It's a buff to-
Was Antitan playing this for
What
us?
Viscerus
No,
is doing
I
is
cut
very
this.
much in line with what a lot of
Yeah.
other elements can
No,
do.
it's a good
So we
buff
felt
to
this
like
was a pretty appropriate time
Dionysus
to
with like
allow him
madness
to
stuff,
come
I
back to
guess.
3,
That's true.
and allow
Yeah.
players to
It's just in everyone. We're
explore,
putting SP Little Knight to 1.
Okay, so that is change number
Ooh, look at this
18
list.
that we have covered. 18
That's it.
changes, that is the complete
That's
list.
18
awesome.
changes.
There's
Look
one
at the
thing that
freaking
we're not
list.
doing, Dan, and
That's
we're not touching
awesome.
any counter runes. Every card today is either an Elestral or an Invoke.
Damn it.
So,
Okay.
why is that? Well, we're
why is
changing
that?
everything else. We got to leave something the same. And we want to see exactly how all of the counter runes that are being played right now perform in a format where the window for interaction is way larger. A lot of these counter runes feel really sharp right now because the game is balanced on a knife's edge. You've got 1, 2
Wait,
turns
no
to
hurricane?
respond,
True.
Otherwise, the threat sticks and the game is
You're
over.
telling me.
When we extend that into a longer and longer game, the individual impact of the counter rune will theoretically be smaller, and we want to test that out and see. Also, you already talked about this. we want to move away from Omni rune packages in the future. We do have some in-element runes that are performing, one of which has been called out by our community, that's Blizzard Whiteout, as possibly overperforming. But when it's being used to protect the Frost Towers that we're taking action against, it's possible this becomes less impactful. You want to talk us through your logic there?
Yeah, so the Omni Suite is something that, you know, it's foundational in Elestrals, right? This is what the game was built upon, these very strong levels of interaction. And that was done by design on purpose in base set to ensure that there was proper interaction points. The game was fun, there was ways to stop your opponent from doing different things, and these cards would be powerful. And what we found is that, you know, it's created a system where over the last couple sets, that a lot hasn't changed there. But I think Livestream was a really good step for us in terms of introducing some of these counter runes that opened up some deck space, gave players more opportunity to build in their element, and you're going to see more of that in the next couple sets. And that's been a big focus of ours, is how do we introduce new cards that can do various interaction pieces, maybe take what Gorgons does and piece that out a little bit and give it to a specific element. But until we have those pieces in place, it becomes very difficult for us to just remove these tools from the game. We've tested the game with no Gorgons. We've tested it at 1. We've tested it at 2.
This is some brain rot, by the way. So sorry, Ari. But I do know that you're being called by the grave for Yu-Gi-Oh thing. I've been out of the game for a while, so I did read that as cockball team gang, and I'm like, that's crazy. So true.
Cockball team gang.
True.
Control is the counter rune suite right now. So it remains a design focus of ours to not only introduce new cards that will allow players more options, but if we're finding that the deck building remains similar and these are the default go-to options, then, you know, there is more room for us to take action.
Drops of Leaf, my best friend. Trevor, you're so right.
Finally, we can get people to play the correct cards
that have the ability to interact with Elestral effects on cast or when they're on the field, similar to how Gorgons can interact. And I think that that's the piece that the game is really missing right now, is the game has to have some form of effect negation, in my opinion. So we can't just pull Gorgons out of the equation.
Yeah.
Whiteout is an interesting card. I think you touched on it pretty well in the sense that this is one of those cards that's an in-element card that has a cool way of interaction. Sure, it can be frustrating if you flip your Gorgons and they flip their Whiteout, but again, we think that with the limits to some of the towers and some of the wide boards,
are we in fish format? We'll talk about that.
That is going to be less frustrating,
Probably.
and it's going to allow Frost players to have a cool way to interact and diversify their counter rune suite without it being this thing that ends the game on the spot. So that's something we're going to continue to watch. It is on our watch list. We're going to continue to monitor feedback over Whiteout, but I think that there's a lot of really cool design space with cards like that. And I'm really proud of the steps we took in Livestream to introduce new runes, Madness and Shadows, Whiteout being another one. There are a lot of cool pieces. Sunstrike will continue to deliver on that, and we're going to continue to build upon that in upcoming sets. So right now, it's just important that I think we keep this piece the same. But it's going to remain a focus of ours, both in design and as we look at future limits and bans to allow unique game plan decks to exist and allow players to explore all the cards that they can in the card pool. And I think that that'll be a win for everybody when we get to that point.
Phew. Okay. We made
it.
it. We have a little bit of housekeeping to do at the end. So, today, when you see this, hi Future Internet, hi Elestrals players, it should be January 9th when we release this video. That's a Friday.
It is.
This list is effective in 10 days on Monday, January 19th. That is the day after store regionals end. We want all store regionals to play the same format and to not have their testing disrupted. Players have been hard at work in that format, and they deserve to play what they've been testing for. But the next premiere on January 24th, new list, new us. So that's when you're going to see it in action. We're really excited to see everyone play in that. Also, maybe January 20th, Casual Tuesday. Pretty banger attendance yesterday, and I think we had 32 people in the casuals. Let's see if we can break
32
at the end of the month.
I'm bringing this list to the next casual this coming Tuesday too. You guys do whatever you want, but that's what I'm doing. But I understand. Again, I'm not supposed to say this stuff. We're not going to disrupt the store regionals casual night. I'm encouraging you guys to come to that. We hit 32 people. I want to hit 50 people. It's going to be really hype. I also want to mention that we hope and expect that this list will be the list that goes into Worlds. So just want to be clear and upfront there. And that Worlds badges are going on sale this Sunday, by the way. So stay tuned for that. We're going to have more information there.
Interesting.
I'm super excited about that. And I think that this is going to open the door for a lot of things. I mean, I know digesting this myself over the last few days as we've kind of gone through the testing process and had so many conversations about it and really tried to nail things down. I'm more excited to play Livestream than I think I've ever been. And I think that I'm seeing potential in so many different strategies and so many different decks that weren't there because they just couldn't keep up. They weren't able to explode as fast as some of these other strategies. And now so many other decks are going to be able to function. You're going to be able to put a guy in defense. You know, I mean, it sounds crazy, but you're going to be able to play an Elestral in defense position and not worry about it just getting popped the next turn every single time and not be able to build into anything.
Can I just go to this link on the blog?
For that.
Does that work?
I think it's going to be very welcome. But as always, please leave your thoughts. You know, discuss on social media, use our Discord channels, leave a comment on the video. If you love this, let us know. If you think we missed the mark again, then let us know, right? We're clearly showing you
I think they did
this
it.
is the thing I want to highlight the most from this is this
They
is what
saved
makes Elestrals different.
They
Not
saved
that we're going
Elestrals.
to listen to every complaint that we ever get and pivot on a dime just because one person gets angry, but when we feel and hear the community at large tell us something and we miss the mark, we're going to try to fix it. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do that every time because we have the same goal and objective as you. Is we just want Elestrals to be the best game we possibly can have and do that for as many people as possible. And I said it earlier, I recognize it's hard to do that for everybody because everyone's got a little bit of a different perspective of what they want out of a game. But I think where we're walking away today is a better place than we've ever been in terms of what we're headed into. And I hope that you see our continued efforts to ultimately deliver on those promises and create a game that we can all enjoy and we can be proud to share and we can be excited to go to locals for and we can be excited to go to worlds and compete at. And I'm super stoked about the future. And again, this has been a great learning experience for us and the team as we continue to improve our processes, learn from our mistakes, and keep on chugging along to deliver on these goals and make the best game we possibly can.
Yeah, and it needs to be emphasized as well what a huge team effort this was. We really have to make sure that we thank all of our testers, all of our staff that helped out and jumped in, everyone that was involved in these discussions. This was a really big team effort, and everyone really worked hard to make sure the Lustral is the best game it can be. So, please let us know what you think of the list. Also, let us know what you think of this communication format. We're trying to be more transparent and bring you into the conversation to make sure that you understand where we're coming from. If it worked for you, let us know. If there's anything you'd like to see different next time, let us know. And thanks so much for enjoying Elestrals. We will see you
Next time I want to see Hat oiled up.
Yeah,
Let's go! Marvel ass teaser.
That's really funny. That's really funny. Lycavoid's right behind me, isn't he?
Okay, let me find the graphic
same
real quick.
format and to not have their testing disrupted.
While we're
Yeah,
waiting for the
players
blog
have
post to
been
be up,
touching.
that's like a little splash piece. Nope. Fuck. Okay. All right. Hey, y'all. That was the ban list. What does everyone think?
Wow.
Quick. 1 through 10. Quick 1 through 10. Chat and everyone here, and then we'll go into our thoughts, opinions. This was a absolute like fist banger of a list, barn burner, if you will. Jesus Christ and a half.
like 1,000 out of 10.
I think that I've consistently rated every ban list very lowly. This is like, I don't think that there's much else they could have done other than like specifically fan servicing me wanting floodgates to be on.
Hey,
like,
listen.
yeah.
I'm looking at my list of requests. There are three things that were entirely untouched that I wanted them to be hit in the ban section.
Yeah, like I think that the only things
row.
that they really missed were things that just me individually want gone, not things that necessarily need to go.
Yeah.
It just confirms the world list. Interesting, because Sunstrike will be out for Worlds, right? So, what if Sunstrike is toxic as fuck? Possible. I think what they're saying with this is like the list going into Worlds is that, so like we don't know the format except for specifically this, I guess. So it's like even if Sunstrike is out, similar to how Livestream was, they don't want to like do anything that's like going to change our existing testing, I guess. And then we'll just add on Livestream on top of that and go from there. So, or not Livestream, Sunstrike. So it's not, Sunstrike's not confirmed. We actually really don't know. This is the first part we're getting about Worlds format, is that this will be the ban list, which makes sense because that's how Kissimmee was. But just to kind of point that out from Nova Strata.
Yeah.
I give this list an 18 out of 10 for every card that was hit on it.
True. The Swolak score.
And because 8 is the number of cards that should have been hit many lists ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I guess
crazy that a bunch of these cards could have gone before and are just now being
it's never where.
addressed.
Yeah.
Which is, it's nice that they are finally doing, like, the Lavalith ban.
Yep.
Huge.
Yep.
So happy about that. I'm also really glad that Nog got addressed too.
Yes. Yeah. Like Lavalith, Nog, Cryovern, Eruption. These are all cards that probably should have been hit in the formats they released it in. Like Tornadjinn was a powerhouse at Dallas. Nog has always been a card that was going to be problematic. Cryovern has been insane since Frostfall. Like, these are all things that we know to be true.
They're calling it the residents of Tartarus. Do you think they pay rent?
Who's their landlord?
Who's their landlord? It's probably
They need
Sprocket.
representation.
First things first. Everyone who's rating this list a 6 or a higher has reading comprehension. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You have it.
We lack critical thinking.
You have critical thinking and you have reading comprehension. I'm just going to tell you that right now. If you're rating this less than that, I really can't tell you that at the point. Okay, so this list is a bloodbath on levels that I think is unique to Elestrals, right? Like the one thing blogs up, someone got a link? I'm gonna wipe a little bit of link.
Let me look for it.
Can be a little.
I think if you go to like the Elestral site and go to like news, usually
news. Yeah, there we go.
No.
Page not found.
I don't see it.
It closed out of 2 tabs. It hotkeyed me to 2 tabs. It's awesome. Go back home.
No, I don't see it.
There we go. I got something. Trading card game, organized play news. There we go. Nope, that's the last one.
No.
Organized play, Banlist, Clash news, generic news, video directs. View all. This is Elestrals news generic. Latest news. View all on trading card game news. That's trading card game news. Where's the latest? I think it would be under this, right? Hey, that's me. There it goes. Ooh, I like this thumbnail. Shoutouts to thumbnail artists on this one.
Ambrosia, the thumbnail's crazy.
Swole, check your DMs. Thank you, Wirtz. Also, everyone say congratulations, Wirtz. By the way, we haven't gotten a chance to say congratulations yet. But holy, to you and Helen.
Yippee.
We'll see you in Vegas.
I mean, we
Wirtz, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess before we read into this, thoughts on the video format, the work involved, just general thoughts. We'll go and read through this this blog post together.
I think that the way that they did this was really good. I think that, especially given the circumstances, they needed to do a long explanation to kind of hash out their improvements, new philosophy, rather than doing like a YouTube. We're sending Lycavoid to Tartar.
Again.
But no, I think it's really appreciated. Like, especially the huge preamble before we even got to the list to set everything up for like the expectations, the new things that they're going to do moving forward as far as like Banlist philosophy. It's all very reassuring that something like the last list won't happen again. Hopefully.
Yeah,
that makes sense. And again, I think that to the core tenets of the last ban list, right? It was that they were looking at speed, resiliency, and then there was a secret third thing that I think was fine, but maybe, in my opinion, a little like still subjective in terms of like design decisions, because I think that it tells us a lot about what they define some of these decks as. But overall, I think from what they were saying, like player experience, and like representation, and there was like another like the evaluation criteria they were going off of for this list, I think was definitely a lot more consistent and definitely gave a lot more clarity to the decisions versus before. Comments in the last list were from me. That's on me. I think it's still good to have, and I think this is like obviously a huge shout out to you on this one, even though I know you're probably not going to take credit for this. Is it's a good thing to introduce just a sort of like philosophical meaning, regardless of like, I guess, critique of that. Like when Yu-Gi-Oh did that, just to talk about contemporaries, well, years ago, when they were like, yeah, we're gonna ban the Power 9, right? And that was like a thing that they directly addressed. You know, there were parades in the streets, and they have done that for Genesis a little bit. They talked about that, and some people running the Genesis blog. But I think that's something that every single game, regardless of card game, personally, needs to be able to do effectively, is explain the sort of idea behind it. Because even if people aren't on board, I mean, hey, you tried your best, you explained it, and if someone doesn't agree, then what are you gonna do? Y'all ready to read this blog post?
Yeah.
All right. Banned and restricted list update January 2026. Welcome, casters. We're here with an unplanned update to the Tartarus/banned and restricted list that will be effective January 19th, while our previous update stated that we were targeting a February 2026 window for our next round of changes. The adjustments were made to the format, unfortunately, had a very different impact from what we were hoping for the livestream competitive format. For those who haven't read the article, link here. To put it plainly, our previous update missed the mark on nearly all fronts. The limits that were implemented didn't achieve our intended goals of effectively lowering the power level of impacted decks. Frost players were adversely affected only if they were playing pure more Frost variants, while anyone running Tadpuff or Tadflow found that the 1 of limit was not enough to meaningfully change the deck's strength. The Kinleo and Equilink's unlimits created board situations in which one player couldn't meaningfully escape from the pressure of the incremental advantage. Most significantly, the Lycavoid Champion of Artemis unban warped the deck construction regardless of whether players were running the card or trying to stop it. Our initial analysis and testing with the ban list led us to the wrong conclusions about the projected shape of the format. Additionally, our understanding of what players liked or didn't like about the livestream format pre-December ban list was flawed and led us to the wrong conclusions. Ultimately, we have to take accountability, and we apologize deeply for the mistakes and challenges we caused. First, that's a very humbling and very insane paragraph. I'm just gonna point that out there. It to speak a little bluntly, it takes some balls, right? I think that's one thing to give credit to on this one, is it absolutely takes some cojones to sit there and be like, yeah, we fucked up. And not only do we fuck up, but like we like here's why, here's how it happened. Like it's a root cause analysis sort of thing that you don't see very often. I think that's one thing that a lot of our players and a lot of the community has really appreciated about Elestrals, is just that sort of transparency. So big ups. Specifically this one paragraph right here, that does like gangbusters numbers in terms of cred. I'll say that for me personally.
Absolutely. I really appreciate this.
Yeah. Now it's time to make things right. Elestrals is committed to as a company to being a player first, and it's not too late to create a healthier gameplay dynamics that better match the vision of what we all want the Elestrals trading card game to be. We've been hard at work monitoring recent event data, observing and testing gameplay, compiling player feedback, and contextualizing the current format with future cards. As a result, today we have the largest banned and restricted list update in the history of Elestrals trading card game. Well, this article will have a streamlined explanation for the rationale behind our changes, effectively just saying that there is a big ban list podcast to check out, for sure. I'm going to skip past that paragraph. That makes sense. Anything on the preamble to this one, too? I think this is a fairly self-evident sort of idea, going over just the bit outlining it out. This update has two primary goals: pull back pull back overly efficient threats and the cards that enable them. Limit or remove cards that create or compound or compound repetitive game states. Real quick on this one too, because I think this is we're going to kind of go down by this. Do you all think that was accomplished with this list?
Yeah,
and if so, to what extent? I guess.
Most of the gripes that I have about the format were the repeatable things that like you just get into this endless wormhole of the same thing over and over again. And like for some decks, it honestly was really boring to play. Also, maybe not even necessarily a problem. But even like the more frost things, like, oh, I'm just going Chimera, pitch bad, bring back another Chimera and do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And that doesn't necessarily change, but they've made it a lot more difficult to do for Morfrost, even with the Bat Unlimit. The Lockagon stuff, we're not just doing Lockagon after Lockagon after Lockagon. And a lot of the power cards were addressed. And I think even for some decks that weren't necessarily top strategies, it is felt that like, okay, if we hit these top decks, what are the next issues? And those were also addressed. It felt like there was a lot of like forethought going into what could potentially be issues given X, Y, or Z hits. And I think they've accomplished all of those things, the efficient threats.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, so kind of to summarize the next couple paragraphs of it, effectively just laying out that there is some philosophy around trying to avoid good stuff pile, and some of these efficient one-cost Elestrals and removals. And they were heavily trying to redefine what cards they were. And to kind of Josh's point here, they are trying to address both aspects of like data and also player experience. I think that was maybe like a slight difference before, is that like, hey, this was, or maybe not difference, but I think, so I've always said this too, that in terms of game balance, I'm stealing this directly from other devs, that it is very much like threading the eye of a needle, right? Like you're change one direction too much, the game doesn't even look like itself anymore. Change the other direction and you haven't moved the needle quite enough. And so I think that's kind of the unintended consequence and effect of these sort of incremental ban lists that we've had so far, is that it feels really nice. It feels like things won't move too far in the direction that is unrecognizable. But I think because of that, though, sometimes you can have unintended compounding problems that you do need to you need to be able to either be really, really forthcoming and really, really forward thinking, or you need to just do something like this where it's like a slaughter list. And so that's a hard balance. This is Elestral's first time doing the slaughter list, which it might have to happen again in the future, but that's like the hope, is that things will level out as the process gets easier for the team. Yeah, I don't know. Anchor Frost, the best is so back. True. Okay. So here's how they're deeming problematic cards. A card is subject to be banned if it has a powerful game working effect when naturally drawn, and highly powerful when searched. Fair. These cards are often unhealthy for the game, or unhealthy pieces that cannot be modulated in a healthy way. Cards that are banned in this way will be marked as candidates for an Escape from Tartarus title card in the future. However, not all cards will receive this title. A card is subject to a limit if it's part of a game piece that aids healthy game plans in a singular card, but has too much of a compounding advantage when up to 3 can be applied. We expect players to include cards like this in their strategies as search targets and shouldn't be game defining when drawn naturally over the course of the game. A card subject for a semi-limit if it is disproportionately impactful only when played at multiple copies. Semi-limits are the most unusual change we could make, and are exploring other ways to use this tool, including philosophical adjustments. All right, 18 cards. Thoughts on Lycavoid, Tadpuff, Tadflow. These were previous list NVPs, similar. I guess we can also talk about Equilinx and Kinleo in the same about if y'all want to. Thoughts on these?
All deserved. It all. This is what the prior list should have been.
Yeah.
Like, Tadflow, Tadpuff should have been banned in the first place. It felt like they were too afraid to do it, as it's felt like they've been historically. And then a champ Lycavoid never should have come back. Link's Kenleo never should have come back.
Yeah, I think to the level that Tadflow, Tadpuff, Lycavoid is one of those ones where it's like, again, get what they're trying to do. A little too powerful still. Maybe the cat out of the bag just one more time eventually. I don't know. I think on some level, I agree with the fact that this was maybe that Lycavoid was. It's not as powerful as it was still, but I'll point it back to. I'll keep on reusing this line. It's a gatekeep. It's just how tall is your deck? Does your deck have both answers? Can it play with and without? I think that it is format warping and deck building warping, and that's effectively the only thing with it. I don't even necessarily think this card is that powerful because we have answers in the format, but I do think it is a little too much still. A little too much. Tap up tap flow feels bad when you draw them, and you can still search them, and it just yeah, same. I Woolly Champion of Keon and Cedar Soar. These are two new ones. Talking about these ones.
I mean, I Woolly. I love this card. I adore the Catarant I Woolly stuff, but the fact that it can go so wide so easily is just way too much. Way too much.
Yeah. I really don't have any words on this card. I think it's very.
It is just way too strong.
There's not a whole lot of talking about it.
It can come back as like a EFT. Can only bring back Keon champs or something like that.
Yeah,
and even then
agree.
it could be too strong because then you could hit Catarant into another I Woolly.
I think that's kind of the weird part is that, and maybe by that time that's like maybe I don't know. I think that I Woolly is funny to me in terms of I like the fact I like what I Woolly does. I like the deck. I think that it is very strong, very fast, but it's the second one that gets you. I think you can deal with one, but the problem is one does get you like infinite advantage, and it's the fact that you can cast up to like any amount of the Frost 1-ofs. I think if you did one, there's a possibility where you go Catarant and then hit another one of I Woolly, but I think at that point it's like I don't know. I think that there's a lot of layers to this card being strong, and they all would need to be addressed really early. So, oh well. Cedar Soar, good preventive hit, I think.
I will say the one thing that I like a lot about this list is that it feels like it's doing a lot of design decision hits. I lament Tadpuff being hit because I think that Lakagon just. I know, Josh, you're saying it still exists. I think it doesn't exist as a deck after this list. Like, I just think that Lakagon is now Aephros 5s that randomly has a payoff that sucks when your opponent hits it. And I don't like that conceptually. But Tadpuff is a card that shouldn't exist. It's just unfortunate that now a really cool deck that I have enjoyed playing doesn't do anything. And we know it doesn't do anything because we've already seen it not perform at the last event. But overall, I see a lot of philosophy hits that I agree with. It just sucks that it also means that some decks that are cool just don't exist anymore.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I don't know. I think the Tadpuff, I think it's in the same vein, right? It's like when I see the philosophical hits, like Cedar Soar, like Tadpuff, it is. I'm actually really okay with it because you can read a lot into the type of gameplay that the testing, the team. Like I don't really know how to like put this objectivity, I guess, on them. It's not a definitive statement, but like in Yu-Gi-Oh, for example, for years people were like, you gotta hit Sky Striker, you gotta hit Eldlik, you gotta hit something, and they would do either light hits or no hits. And to me, people would like, it's back in the day. This is again at this point almost 10 years ago. Jesus Christ, but like the really easy read that people I think weren't getting was that it is clear that this is a type of gameplay style or a type of gameplay deck that they feel like represents the game well, or on some level they like the gameplay loop that it provides. And I think that, like I mentioned here, the Blitztrix line is still intact, and I think that's, you know, I don't know. I think it's still powerful, it's still very strong. Blizz and Lockyawn I think will still exist in some way, but this is definitely a hit to those things, in a way that I think maybe makes it healthier. Lockyawn can no longer be, I'm going to tank a bunch of damage and just randomly swing down my boss while also applying pressure. It's like, you kind of have to do one or the other. Because it is much more committal now to go Lock. And in a lot of ways, it's worse.
It already was.
Yeah.
It already was after the last list, which is why we saw it not really perform.
Yeah. And I think
that's why
I'm okay
it's
with
kind of
that.
unfortunate that we see such hard hits. It's like it didn't do anything after the last change.
I think
I
I'm
don't think
okay
it was
with
just because
that.
Lycavoid existed.
To be fair, like I went through like all like the lock lists that I could find, and I didn't like almost any of them. Sorry, Swole.
Oh no, listen, Trevor and I,
But,
we threw it together. We were just like, let's run it. Yeah, they're not.
It's like,
they're not great.
so
That's fair, but
my,
like,
my big
I don't
issue
know.
is because I was testing like Lycavoid and having insane results with it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And a lot of it that was also due to Lycavoid, not even just like the lock stuff.
Have you considered that you're just built different?
I think that is a strong
No,
consideration you need to start
I
making,
don't-
Josh.
Yeah. Have
Like,
you?
I
have you thought-
played.
Have you?
No, zero self-reflection here. The Lycavoid is good. But
I played Lock at locals on Monday, and it felt I was playing Barrel Boss that sided into Lockagon, so it's not the same.
Okay.
But when I played the Lockagon deck, part of the deck, it just felt terrible because I was like, I'm just playing fives. I'm winning with fives, or I'm like in this uphill battle to try and resolve Lockagon that maybe gets me back into the game. Most of the time it doesn't because they have 3 back row. Like it just Lockagon has been a rough deck to exist after they banned Hurricane and Helios. And then they hit Tadpuff, and it's like, okay, now it's even worse. Like I just don't buy that it's fine.
Yeah, I think Gone Fishing is like it was always like the strong thing the deck could do, and with the explosive back end or top end of Lockagon, and it's like I remember even in Kissimmee, like the hardest parts of Lock to deal with were always a 5's turbo, because I think every player is prepared for when Lock Champ drops, you know, do X, do Y, like the binary sort of like counters, I think kept the deck in check in a very good way. But in that version of the list, Tadpuff was kind of the difference maker, and to shout out to Julian on this one, into seeing that like you could just wait until your time was right to strike with the Lock combo, and that was the big difference. And I think in our current iteration of Lock, quote unquote, fish stuff, the best thing to do is Nexus with Aphros and draw. It's to gain advantage, to play back row. It's not to do Lock, in fact. A Lock is oftentimes too committal, but...
Exactly.
And I think that's
that sucks.
It's
I don't like that.
It's the setup payoff that I think is weird for something like
it's
this.
Really funny because they talk about trying to remove 5's good stuff decks, but like that is what Aphrodite is now. Is it's a 5 good stuff deck. It's just like a water 5 good stuff, and they like designed it to be that way.
I think
And that's why I think it's kind of weird about this.
I think maybe the other thing is to push, the other unintended thing is to push other players to different types of water 2-drop strategies, or to other types of water strategies that weren't just default.
It's dangerous
Lockagon.
though. I just built a Chronodile list and it's disgusting.
Yeah,
It
Chronodile.
is basically
with Stillery,
unhit. It looks almost identical.
Capregal.
Yeah, why Capregal? I don't know.
Distillery.
Joblin. Like you have
Coastalith. This is how Coastalith can still win.
unironically true. I played the side Coastalith in the last list. Is awesome. No, I think that's fair. I personally don't have a problem with it, because I do think that there is an argument to be made that Lock was and is this sort of like weird beast where it is just really good, but also really bad. And again, goes into like the threading the needle thing, where it's like, what are we incentivizing our players to do? And Hurricane isn't a tool I think we can really have back necessarily. I mean, it might be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, limiting counter runes would also have to be the other part of it, where it's like multi-layered thing with the fish. Yeah, I don't know. Cedar, good hit. I think Cedar, good hit though. Tornadjinn. Tile form.
That's a good hit.
Coming out. Neat.
I'm so glad this card's gone.
Yeah. I think it's I think it's good. It's just good. It's just
Like,
good.
Solar is far from dead. Like, Solar's still probably one of the best decks after this list.
Yep,
But I'm
yep,
glad
yep.
that they turned the power down on that deck a little bit.
100%, 1000% Champ of Ares. I think Champ of Ares would be cool. I think it'd be like a cool Tornadjinn with a bunch of armor. That'd be neat. But I think this card ticking time bomb. I think that Winjin into whatever the next Tornadjinn is cool. It definitely gives foretell and those type of strategies, something that like will work. Once again, it's Werepup issue, where Winjin, unless there's a titled form, unless there's like another version of it eventually, will just say you cannot print a broken Tornadjinn. That's kind of another thing that this is signaling to me, where it's like you got like Winjin is another card that's gonna be like that. Again, I imagine there's gonna be some combo in the future that's unintentional, but it's like you can get multiple Winjin out in a turn and then go into multiple Tornadjinn, and that's gonna be like the snowball effect.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But Maple Story, I was seeing Solano's ball. Listen, Maple Story the GOAT. Shout out to Nexon, unfortunately. Lavalith. Hit. This one.
Get him out of here.
It should have been banned the first time.
I find it's so strange that, like, Lavalith wasn't seeing not like a ton of play before everybody started playing Chains of Prometheus. And then everybody was reminded how good this card was because they were already playing the Fire Spirits.
Yeah.
Classic new toy syndrome.
A little
Yeah.
bit. This is definitely a card that falls out of favor, and then people are like, wait, yeah, I'm comfortable by Spirit
yeah.
Path.
Wait a minute. It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
For me, that's always been a problem with Lavalith, is the same problem that I think I have with Verdalith. Inadvertently, I think the defensive cards or cards that have defensive effects, I think can or should be a little more offensively heavy to balance out the fact that they're not very like offensively effect statted, I guess. Lavalith just reads, I can hit over, and this is no joke, 90% of the cards in the game and also remove back row. That is kind of the over tuning of a card like this to me. And there's a lot of cards in Elestrals that are like this, where it says like, I can hit over a sizable majority of Elestrals in the game on stats alone to represent a threat and to even represent more removal. Like, how many times do we sit there with a 5 and go, I'm gonna hit over your Elestral, and that takes out a back row. So now that Elestral is now back row removal. That's like the memes. Every card is P-Gust. And Lavalith is like P-Gust on mega steroids. So I think it's even less the fact that like there's every single thing about Lavalith just reads benefit. And to me, it's both like a boss Elestral and a really cool card. Unfortunately, I do love Lavalith. All the lists are sick. But Nectar of the Gods.
Thank God.
Deserved. It probably needed to be banned before it became a problem, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I like this one. I was hesitant, honestly, to say that this was one that I would like right now. It's definitely ticking time bomb, but good stuff.
Honestly, it's probably less of a problem when the faster decks get brought down a peg, but like I don't want to wait and find out. It's better to just have it go.
Yeah, agreed. Limits after all the bans. Good bans. I think. Is there anything that they missed ban wise? Do we think?
Yeah, the Chronodile Tornadjinn massively will actually be a very good deck, and I think that Farrageist should have gone in just because I hate that card. Like personal bias against Farrageist aside, which I do think it will be a very strong deck, and I think that it is something that we will see crop up a lot, and it will be very unfun to play against and very strong. Tornadjinn is something that I just threw together a list for. It is basically unchanged from how I've been playing it, and it is disgusting. Like, it just exists as it always has been, and we have less things to deal with it. Like, Lycavoid was one of the biggest things that dealt well with it, because you could stop them by turboing faster than Tornadjinn could. I think that it's problematic that we still have Tornadjinn around.
Yeah.
We just cannot have untargetable cards. Stop printing them. Stop printing them. Do not make cards unaffected. It is such a bad idea.
I think it's very weird, right? Because, like, maybe it's just that I think some of the boss Elestrals, they are disproportionately good. Tornadjinn is definitely one of them, where in the game states where Tornadjinn is good, it is insane. Yeah, just simply print more non-target removal. And that's also true. Like, Tornadjinn maybe just gets worse with that regard, but
it's just Novacore, right?
Novacore, it's the Hermes stuff.
Fine Effect, the Hermes stuff.
Yeah. There's
it's just Spinasect, right? There isn't another.
Yeah, it's just Spinasect.
Technically this one
Also,
shield,
like,
which is just not gonna happen realistically.
Heliolith.
Yeah.
Lith, yep. The bounce. Let's go burst. Yeah, I don't know. I am always a proponent of thing good if thing has a reasonable curve to getting it out, and it's always gonna be cost opportunity there. I think that you're right that on some level there is it might be too easy still. I don't know if it's under it's just turn 2 now, sorry. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the thing, is that maybe it is too powerful in that regard. I don't know. Maybe the Tad Puff limit and Tad Puff hit helps. It's still a case of counter runes still be crazy. Once again, like, once you get your boss out, your defensive measures become a lot more powerful. That's part of the multi-layered, I think, problem, but I don't know. Also, good night, Cobalt. Good at 5 a.m.
Good night, Cobalt.
What? Oh my god.
What are you doing?
Go bed.
Hey, listen, I was the same way. I was up till 6 last night. It was crazy.
Jesus.
God damn.
I know, right? What was I doing? All right, limiting to 1. Lycan form, moving bat to unlimit.
I like the swap.
Phenomenal swap.
Yeah, I think I would have still liked bat to 1 still.
I think that bat at 3, I think, feels more necessary as a result of if we are keeping the Aphro stuff around, we still need like another deck in the format that can go wide quickly.
Yeah, as they're doing carpet bombings outside my window.
Yeah,
classic
yep,
America moment.
I also had I had a much bigger problem with like the splashability of Morfrost and everything than I did with the actual Morfrost deck.
True.
Like, as soon as they had Tadflow, but like they didn't hit Lycan initially, it's like, oh, cool, we just play the Morfrost package in Blizz now.
Yeah, I think one thing about the Lycan, like the Lycan form, bat form, Chimera of it all, is that Chimera does tie the deck together in a way that it does give like a very accessible threat to Morfrost, where it feels like before there was some player expression, I'll say that you kind of had to do to enable the deck to be good, right? Like, you had to engineer game states, Josh level Bean Soldier game states, to say, wow, this deck is broken. But it was a very good like risk reward. Like, if you're willing to put, oh, holy god, what the? Jeez,
bro, goddamn.
I didn't think that take was that bad. They're sending the strike team out.
Live.
Holy. Oh god. Well, anyways, they banned Lavalith and the streets are rioting. So, for no other reason, of course. The thing with Chimera that ties it all together is I think just this sort of, again, repeatable big body that answers a lot of things in the format. I think, unfortunately, I would have loved to see Chimera be less stat heavy and also do our laundry, but maybe Lycanform reducing the amount of times that happens is nice. I don't know if that's going to happen per se, because you just go Narpoon and then into Lycan, search Chimera number 1 or Chimera number 2. I don't know, but it does slow down the deck a little bit. Say that. Vern.
They really are doing crazy shit over by you. Goddamn.
Dude,
Yeah, well, holy.
it's every afternoon. I'll be on phone calls or meetings, and I'll be like, yo, you have anything to add to that? I'll be like, yeah, I think it's I think just look at the number. It's like, yeah, awesome.
Gotta be at least 10,000.
Yeah. It's real.
Dude, you are backing it up over there. Please tell me someone is oiled up.
Sometimes when they keep on going, it's really funny. But yeah, every afternoon, once
Jesus
a day.
Christ.
I'm saying.
Took put in reverse Terry too seriously. They kept it in reversed.
Cryovern. I know they all said this is like both a matters doesn't matter hit / limit. What's up with that?
I like it. I think it matters.
Yeah, it matters, but like it doesn't matter to me. I don't know. It feels like we're just not going to see people play this card at all, which is fine by me.
I'm fine with like the 1x7.
I like it in the actual gameplay, but in terms of deck building, it's similar to the Tadpuff stuff. It's like it sucks because I can agree with it in like the concept, but I look at it like I don't know. I feel like this just suck. It just means you can't play this stuff anymore.
This is definitely a this hit was sponsored by Big Rhino. Big Rhino paid Celestial staff to do this. I'll say that they said there's a 2-drop here that y'all have been ignoring. Yeah, I think that this is a weird. I like this hit because it is in line with everything else. It is a Cryovern, Cryoling. I think is a good engine. I do like how it gives Frost a thing to do. I think the thing that always come to me about this engine before was commitment. I think legitimately, and how like Dymax was playing it before too, you could play like a small Cryoling splash engine and things, and then all of a sudden you have a 7 that you can drop randomly. This is it requires a little bit more thought that doesn't necessarily punish, I think, deck building in a way. Frost is still very good. Frost still has a lot of tools, but it does mean that you don't get a lot of this sort of like you can deal with one Cryovern, a second one just is just a numbers game. You're just brute forcing, I think, bad game states at that point, in my opinion.
It's the second one that gets you.
It really is. It's the second and third one in some cases. Like I don't know. I like Josh. Like I think when you're like, I was at not finals against 6, but it was semifinals, right? There was a time where I think you could have really handled one Cryovern, but then 6 has a second one,
it was
and
the
it was
second
like,
one that killed me.
Yeah, it would legitimately. I was like, oh no, Josh has this for 1. But 2 was ridiculous.
I could have easily dealt with the 1. It was the second Cryovern that killed me.
Yeah, because you had the second Argo set or something, I thought.
I had shield set, so I was able to deal with the 1 Cryovern attacking. I think I had like a Shivaroar in hand, so I could ascend over. Like if I protected one of my guys.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I couldn't do it.
Shout out Triple Vern. That's what I'm saying. Triple Vern is awesome. That was really cool. It's cool to see these things occur. It's just thinking of the implications that's usually insane. Moving on to Lock. OG Lock. Thoughts?
I'm still happy with it.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
It really feels way too harsh on the deck. Ambro plus Tadpuff plus 1 Lockagon. It didn't have results. They didn't hit the cards that were having results. This is also the most popular deck, so they just took a shit ton of people's like deck they've been playing at premieres and said it is entirely unplayable. You have to just play 5's beatdown now, and I feel like that is the wrong design direction, and it's contrary to everything else they've said in this list. Like, I would have really liked to see like Aphoros getting hit as opposed to Lockagon. That also kills the Lockagon deck probably, so I don't know. It felt like it was in a fine place with Tadpuff at 1, honestly. It didn't do a whole lot. And I know that the lists weren't great, but like in practice on my end, it has not felt phenomenal.
Yeah, I think this is like a really, I think it is a kind of a 2-for-1 where it's like they ban Tadpuff and it points the deck to being fish deck, and then they hit this Lockagon, I think, to make that philosophy in line with the rest of the deck, saying that like if you are going to pull the trigger on your game plan, on your win condition, you should only be able to do it once. And I think it's still in line. I do think, though, it does point the deck to just being fish, and then maybe you have a splash of like a 1/1 Lockagon high end. So, you know, turns out the penthouse was correct. But I think, I don't know, for me, I think that's fine. Lockagon commitment on it was winning the game, but I always felt like I was never safe to do so anyways. Like, I think that's kind of the weird part about this list, or about the hit, is that even if I wanted to run multiple copies in the deck, I only ever felt safe doing it once, because you're right, like most time my opponent would have multiple back row, or be holding a PTA, would be holding a Dense Fog for the time that I like shotgun the champ lock. So it's a little bit funky, but
this is also a deck that like aggressively loses to a Silver Bullet card. So if your opponent ever, it's like you now have this really shitty mind game you have to play where it's like, okay, are they on Lockagon? Do I side in the Silver Bullet? Is it worth it? Which maybe is a benefit to lock players, is, you know, you still play all the Lockagon stuff and just say, my opponent will not side into Spoiled Fruit because they are gambling on hitting like a meaningful card. And I think that, like, you know, I'm best friends with like the Lockagon guy. I feel really fucking bad for him. His favorite deck just is unplayable now, and that really sucks because I don't think it needed to be hit this hard.
That's
like,
fair. I don't feel too bad. He's got a championship under his belt.
This is a suicide with 3 bullets to the back of the head right now. Like, it is insane what happened to my girl.
Yeah, Lockagon, I think this one might be the most like multi-layered one for it, because it does talk about like a deck that is ultimately both fair and then sometimes a little too powerful. I think it being, like Zero saying, in practice, like still performing extremely well, I can believe that still. It's just good. It's a good engine. It's kind of hard. Lockagon's a hard deck to balance because it is both extremely fair and good. It's like almost your perfect deck where it has all the tools to perform very well at almost any level, and then also it has these very like very counterable like offensive pushes. It has very counterable stuff it can do. So I think this one is difficult, but it's interesting. I'd be curious to know if this comes off eventually, just to like maybe rise the power level up a little bit, maybe in Sunstrike.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I worry about for the team that tests the list is how many like competitive players they have on the team. This is something that they've never disclosed anything about it. We've just known that one exists since like mid to early last year, I think. And I don't know, this feels like competent player testing with this deck is going to get washed 9 times out of 10, pun intended, because a competent player knows how to beat Lockagon. And under this list, I just think that a competent player annihilates Lockagon every single time. It just doesn't have enough gas. It doesn't have enough resources. You're just playing Aetheros basically. And if that's what's winning you the game, then why are you playing the Lockagon stuff? Like, it doesn't add anything meaningful anymore.
Yeah, there's I think it's interesting. I would be curious to know how Lockagon still fares in the upcoming premiere, honestly. So yeah, I don't know. Solar Burst is card here on list. Good. It's just in line with the rest of the removal. That's not as conditionally heavy as something like Erase the Top. I think Erase the Top as a removal is so conditionally strong, similarly to like Poseidon's Fury, that a lot of things have to go right for that card to be good and live. Solar Burst is just a sort of like I think it's just in line with the rest of it. I don't know if this makes Solar significantly weaker. I think it does. This and Tornadjinn.
Yeah.
But it makes
It's
Solar
still strong though, right?
Yeah, it makes Solar still strong. Like Nova Core is still crazy. But I think Nova Core is still fine.
Royal Is Royal back on the menu?
I think so. I think Royal is underexplored as like a preventative tool that's easily outable, but it makes
the big thing is it was outable because of removal, right? And there just isn't removal at the same degree anymore.
Yeah, well, and if everyone's kind of skewing back towards like Fish and 5 style gameplay, Royal stonks become very
strong.
Heavy. Yeah. So I like it. The only thing I don't like about this card being hit though, and this is something that like is kind of a problem, is that Solar has a lot of small statted dudes, so it was usually using this card to help compensate for that.
Yeah.
And that I think can be very challenging for the deck going forward, is that it's going to be a lot more susceptible to just like, I'm going to put a big body on board, kind of like it always was. Corvashine, old school Corvashine was a problem because you could put it in defense, but then your opponent goes Vis and you're like, oh okay. Okay. Sick. Eruption to 1. Good. Makes sense.
I'm sorry, I just read this message from Zero. We're using Champ Cracking to recur Lockagon? I'm sorry, you were not playing the deck right. Like, I'm sorry, I cannot agree with that. That's crazy.
Awesome.
Move on. I can't one guy. That's crazy, dude. Yeah, that proves everything to me. I'm sorry.
What does Champ Cracking do?
It's a 2-cost that adds back a water card from grave to hand, I think.
So I guess what's the idea here, that you go ascend
you go
the
lock
Champ,
combo, then add it back? Like
you send the Champ Cracking, and then you are putting that as like a defensive wall, and then you are consistently firing off lock combo. If lock gets outed or removed, then you just say, cool, I'll Champ Cracking, do it again.
that just takes so long. You just can't. That's like a 6-turn setup.
Yeah, I guess like I can
Assuming an Elestral sticks every turn.
I think maybe that's true with like the fish too. I can see a world where that occurs just because the fish are strong.
You're outing your own fish to do that when you could just leave a 5-up and continue swinging.
Yeah, I guess that's still fine though. Like I can see that game state happening a lot more frequently than not. But I guess that's more of like to the point of like Elestrals players and deck building. Like, who is doing that? I don't know. Repeatable foamies, yeah, right. Like foamy Aphrodite, grab foamy, set up for your play, protect the foamy, ascend Cracking. Maybe they don't have a PTA. Like that's my thing, is that I think there's a lot of answers to like committal 2-drops in the format that make it hard to justify cards like Draking Cracking, or like like the thing
it just doesn't generate advantage on the spot. I just don't see that as being valuable.
To be fair too, I think this is also with this list in mind. Part of the issue I was always finding is that players could always outpace stuff like that by just holding a PTA. which was one of the most
Mhm.
like represented cards in the meta, just because Nectar Champ was always in the format.
Mhm.
And there was always a case to where, again, Cryovern was a 7. The Stadium Runes were also like messing us up. So I think there's like, I don't know. That's difficult. I do like the cracking idea, and I can see it happening
Mhm.
more frequently than maybe like a Necrolith, for example. Shoutouts to Brewlock. But I don't know.
Yeah, I can see the like cook in my brain and how you would play it out. I just think that you would be better off playing any other deck at that point, because I just don't think that you're generating enough value off of that line.
I have been thinking about
You'll get
cracking a
slaughtered
little
by
bit.
a solid deck.
I have been thinking about cracking Draking a little bit with the Poseidon Searcher that got announced. I'm there a little bit. Eruption to 6. Yeah, this card, again, just play patterns wise, I think is good. The jump scare of punishing potentially like similar to Lockagon and I think a lot of other decks, you just kind of tank damage until you're like, all right, I have 3 Eruption. I'm going to now punish you for playing the game. On top of that, too, with the new Smoltuga and the new Krakatuga combo, it does make this a very repeatable and somewhat frustrating gameplay loop to play against. Is it that good? Not necessarily, but it is strong. I think that's also part of it. Yeah. Titled non-burn eruption coming in Sunstrike is kind of cool. I do like that addition. A non-burn eruption is neat. I really am looking forward to see what that does. That'd be kind of cool.
I'm very excited to see, because I do really. I mean, my first top was on Krakatuga Burn. I love those cards. The non-burn part of it.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool to see Krakatuga do something else.
Yeah, and I've always thought stuff like Vesuvatuga could have its time, right? And this is technically a hit to that, but you know, you have Boltuga. Like, there's ways to still do this and still have it be right. I'm a big fan of this. Eruption Stadium Rune. Ooh, Eruption Stadium Rune would be kind of cool.
Genius. Like
that. Equilings Kinleo. Yeah. Back to 1. Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. I don't really know if I have much to add on this one. It's just, they're strong. Okay, Ambrosia. This one is weird, right? Like, this one's really weird.
So strange. This feels like this really takes my complaints about Lockagon getting hit and makes them like, come on, man. Like, we didn't need to do this. This feels like such an empty threat to Omni Runes. I know that they said it to be like, we're not afraid to hit Omni Runes and hit them meaningfully. This is not a meaningful hit. I've already seen a bunch of other people being like, this just doesn't make sense as a hit.
Yeah.
In different communities, because it's just like people are not playing this at all, or they're playing it at 3.
Yeah, I think that's like,
and just go to playing it not at all.
I think that's like, so they say a couple things with it. Like, one, it is just straight up a philosophical change. It's also, it's not going to change in like much of deck list or strategies, which is like, they're just straight up like saying that, which I think is a good recognition. And it's also like they're trying to pull back on color fix stuff, which I think was honestly very is a very good thing. I think maybe 2 copies, it could have gone to 1, and that could have maybe really curbed that. But maybe it's just tiptoeing in the Jordans, kind of just like, I'm gonna test out the waters of what 2 would do. 1 Ambrosia, I think, would have been my preferred kind of way to really curb this, because a lot of play patterns that players were coming up with were, I need to spirit manage like a water spirit or thunder spirits for Magneros, or for like Cryover and Water Enchanted. And so it's like you would only play 2 Ambrosia because sometimes you just wouldn't need it. Other times you would need it, and so you had as the backup safety blanket. So 1 copy, I think, would have been a little more effective at curbing the color fixing, if that was like a little more of a justification for doing so, forcing decks to play things like Hibernation or even like Reforge, the Lunar Phase, for example. But I think this is a neat change. I like this idea moving forward, personally, even if it's not that impactful. I think I do like stuff like this. I think it's a neat little thing. Divine healing through the roof, I guess.
Well, you just play that as the third Ambro in Hermes, right?
True. So to Justin's point, almost thought about doing that inside of Tornadjinn just to get a guaranteed heal. So you can play off your runes off that way.
Heal control is so back. Wait.
So that's our semi-limits and our limits. Anything really to add there? Like, are they missing anything as far as limits and semi-limits goes? I don't think so.
I
think this is good.
They did fine.
Yeah. I think neat. Unlimits. Bat, talked about before, makes sense. Viscerus, our long-standing bug beater. Archetypes, perhaps? Yes, and true on the unlimit, maybe. Do you think Unk could come back to 2 minimum?
Maybe. I don't know. That seems so scary.
Josh, nope. Argo's not really fun. Yeah, okay. There's a lot less decks that can play around it now, which is why I'm advocating for an Unk unban. With Thunder performs, Thunder has been performing, so it is just a straight buff. And similarly to Tadpuff and Elacagon, it's like you just tank damage until you're like, all right, Unk. And it's like, of course. So, I get it.
I think that Arcalith, it reminds me a lot of Cedar Soar, where it's like, it just doesn't feel good when you get to play it.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know, maybe Unk as a one of is like is fine, because I feel like whenever I get Unked once in like mid or early game, I'm like, okay, I can deal with this. If I get Unked late game, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it's not that feel bad even getting Unked late game. It's getting multipled Unked, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure. So I don't know. I'm talking myself out of my own meme, but it's RIP my goat. Vis good. I think Vis could also be in line with like the fish decks, and like just kind of giving up us like tools for certain strategies, the Dio stuff like Josh mentioned before. Yeah, we're getting Unk Champ next set. That's also true. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's this entire list. All the 18 changes. They talk about Blizzard Whiteout a little bit, which is I think I'm okay with Blizzard Whiteout being still in the format, even though it's still very strong.
I mean, I do agree with what Josh said earlier. Upon thinking about it, like it's strong, but there isn't as much that you're meaningfully trying to protect with Whiteout now.
Yeah.
I will be trying to play Catarant still to go into OG iWilly. You better white out my Catarant, or I will hit a fucking 9. 8.
Yeah, I think this is I think good
they
list.
Banned Firestorm Vis.
That's true. Oh no.
Wait a minute. It's so over.
Firestorm Vis is like one of those cards I think like yes was there to facilitate the third Vis. It's such a cool different type of Vis that I think I do like from like just a design perspective, like having something that says I function differently and so you can just kind of play me in a different way. So maybe eventually it's like we'll get a deck that is playing like a titled Viscerus form and Firestorm Viscerus and they fit better together. Maybe you do still play 2 and 1. I think it's neat. I think it's still very much a card that eventually we'll see a little more play, but not now.
Not yet.
Let's see. How excited or not excited are we to play this upcoming format?
I immediately after the list, very excited. Afterwards, after ruminating a little bit, I'm excited, but I'm worried that there's still going to be a lot of problems we've had from prior formats that are still not solved. And I think that's just a consequence of this. We should have been having some bigger lists like this for a while now. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to playing Hermes. I think that's going to be really solid, this format. I think Solar is quite strong still. I will be trying to figure out Iwooly again.
It's never been less Funglover. True. Thunder buff a little bit. Slightly slower decks that were just on the cusp can perform a little better now. They still have the same type of problems, but are still really good. I don't know. This in a lot of ways does bring up some decks. I think Hermes is really strong. Because Hermes is pretty much unhit. Lunar weaker, but Lunar also was in this boat before where it was just like fine. Like Titan is still kind of the same. Let's see. Dio still strong, but still fine. Bronto Wisp, true. Bronto Wisp. This is a nerf to Bronto Wisp.
Best deck.
Bronto Wisp is a nerf. Fire gets a little bit weaker. I think it's still good, but on a level that's like probably not as like performing, right? Like they're no longer going to be able to sneak kills the Eruption. The Lavalith won't be able to swing tempo early, so they have to really rely on a Leonite push, which is maybe part of it. I think that there's a sizable world of players will still play Fire, but also will not be able to just like convert as easily because of some of the stuff that Fire had available to it, like multiple Eruption, multiple Lavalith, etc. But I don't know.
I think a big thing that I'm starting to think about for this is the gaps between decks. I think will feel a lot less large. One of the biggest issues that I was having for the past couple of months now is you just couldn't play less good decks at locals, because if your opponent was playing anything that was tiered in the first place, you just had no chance. Like you could play versus a not so good Lockagon list and still get your pussy blown out because like it just can breathe and win the game. I think that there's a lot less of that where you don't have Blizzstrix that can breathe and win the game. Iwooly can't breathe and win the game, etc., etc. And so you will be able to play janky shit a little bit more easily, most likely. And that's exciting because that's what I enjoy about playing card games.
Yeah. I think that's
I think that's like a huge winner from this list is local communities than anything
100%.
else.
Yeah, I can agree with that. On the competitive landscape, this does change a little bit of the top decks. I think this does like shift some things around. Big TBD on what those are. Honestly, I think there's enough of a shake. But local level jank does get better, which is nice. I think there's a lot of creative deck building space in Elestrals that you can do a lot of really cool things. And the question was always like, why would I be doing this when another deck can just blow my back out, or can it I'm playing this element, it's just objectively better for me to play this other card in this other deck and strategy because it's just the power and the advantage, yada yada. So I agree.
But I feel like this is gonna be a lot less destruction heavy. Lockagon was a big proponent of that. Blizzstrix was a big proponent of that. We have a lot less fear of back row getting randomly blown up. So Shield, which has been good, is now very good. I think that like that Champion of Zeus deck that I top 8'd, right? In the most recent event.
Cool
I think that deck is very playable now. I think that it definitely was playable in the prior format. Now I think it's a real deck that is worth playing around with.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's a lot of cards individually, like we're allowed to talk about the new El Diablo. Blizzstrix still very much playable, and might even still be just as like converting. Spiders, Spiders could have its day. Maybe Spiders will be out there. Like there's I think there's like maybe there's an answer there that spiders or decks that are like more combat focused are still back because of destruction being a little bit less strong, but I don't know. That's maybe my worry a little bit, is that the game will still probably be a little too combat focused for some strategies, and that will feel frustrating because some decks just can't, again, out at 5 effectively. But that's always been kind of the case. But we do have just generally strategies that are there. Like if your deck can't do that, then maybe it's not worth it. I don't know.
Argo stocks through the roof.
Yeah, Argo. Argo.
We're still
huge.
back. I love
Fire
Argo.
artifact buff, actually. Yeah.
Fire artifacts back. Bears are so back.
Yeah. Bears back.
Wait a minute. Time to play Glacier, so.
Yeah, with Bears being destruction, Pandora's Box is still probably gonna be played. So it got counters in the meta. What's the Fish gets better with Argo, honestly.
That's true. That's really fucked up, but really true. Fire artifact playing Fish. Wait.
Yeah.
New Hitler just dropped.
Yeah. Fish effect. The thing I think partly why I wanted the Omni runes to be hit on a level is because this list is very exciting. This list is very cool. I'm very down to cook and play and test. This is very exciting in terms of like the jank stuff and gives more a little more breathing room to decks that are a little bit worse. But the same thing still remains, that counter runes will be the determining factor often. This is something that Hurricane unfortunately was like a weird necessary evil, which is maybe not true, but again, fallacy. But it is, you stick your game plan, your tempo winner, and then you control space with counter runes, and that I think will still be true. It is the second Gorgons that gets you. It is the shield that when you have only one guy on board. It is the PTA that takes out your big committal ascension body.
Boss.
Yeah, it's
happened to me on Monday 3 times.
It's stuff like that where it'll be a game. This list is exciting for the Elestrals portion. It will be, unfortunately, still a game of, does Gorgons resolve still, but in the opposite direction of, instead of Gorgons win, it's Gorgons lose, right?
I think the reason that my tone has shifted a little bit on this list is I'm trying to avoid what always happens with me in Elestrals, which is it's super exciting to cook and think about playing the game, and then you go to play it and it's like, oh, I totally just did not think about how the actual gameplay was going to end up. That's what happened to me this past Monday. This has been happening on and off with me for like a month now, where I'm excited to play. I cook up this list. I'm like, this is sick as fuck. And then I go to locals and someone's playing like just an objectively better deck because I cooked up some shit. And like, oh, I get my back blown out. I just didn't play the game. And I'm worried that that's going to be the same thing here. So that there probably is just some like fairly objectively strong list that's 5s adjacent that you can play with like Fish, and you could just get blown the fuck out because they draw Magnaros and 2 back row, and then you just don't get to play the game.
Yeah, I think there's a level to it that is probably a nice sweet spot. Partly why I liked a lot of the destruction or some of the cards that forced interactions more. Like letting things be good, because I think that makes counter runes and some of the more like load bearing cards a little bit weaker, and except for Gorgons, which is I think I'm okay with. But yeah, I think that's like my only concern with this list overall. But I am really excited for it. I think this will breed a lot of really cool new things. It'll be a very wide pool for a little bit until I think the format kind of shapes out to be some of these stronger engine pieces again that we have come to expect from Elestrals. And I can very much see the case to where some decks have not been touched or haven't been like hit by this list in a large enough capacity that they'll probably bubble up. or they'll perform. Frost is still good. Fish is still good. Earth is not amazing, but it's probably like almost where it was before. Sunstrike will shake it up all again. That's true. That's also true. You know, we don't have that much further until Sunstrike, so that is also kind of a fun thing to look forward to in the future. So I'm down. This list is a good list. I like it. What would we rate this list out of 10? What's our out of 10 score here?
I think upon further review, I'm gonna give it a solid 8 out of 10.
Solid 8 out of 10. I like that.
I think that they did a good job in hitting the problems. I just feel like they missed on some of the overall balance stuff. They've got a lot of like good design hits, but I feel like the overall balance is a little hit or miss in some places.
I'm still giving this a 9.5. This list is incredible.
I'm with that. I think
don't have a lot of words.
yeah.
Are y'all still live?
Yeah, we're still live for a little bit.
Oh, hi, live stream. Hello.
Hello.
I just got back home.
Yo,
Kevin.
do you want to wax? How long do you have?
How long do I have for what?
I don't know. The thoughts, opinions, takes.
Are we so back?
Okay, so yeah, this ban list, high key, is gonna bring me back. I'm going to play again. This is exciting. I think there's a couple of misses, so for me, this is an 8 out of 10 ban list. A couple of very minor things I think are missed, but that's about it. Yeah, I think my biggest one that I think is the controversial, quote unquote, one. I think that Champ Aviolith should have gone to 1 this list. That's my one like
Honestly,
out
kinda
there
based.
opinion one. That is my out there one.
See it.
Yeah. It's the only one that I'm just like that to me is a big miss because I think that deck is really good post this list. And I think putting the Champ Aviolith to 1 would have been really nice. But other than that, I think everything else on this list is fucking phenomenal. I lost my voice at pogging out over the Tornadjinn ban XD.
Hey Kevin, are you excited to play versus me on Crocodile a little bit later? You want to test?
Well, so do you know what I was out doing? I probably won't be able to play today because I was out. I went to buy a Switch 2 with the Pokemon Legends ZA thing, so I'm probably falling off the face of the earth for a couple of days. But yeah, after that I'm down to test. But I'm also I also have a regional tomorrow, so I'm Yu-Gi-Oh pilled for the next day. But then after that I'm down.
Big news.
Hell yeah. Exciting stuff. Very cool. Good list. Very pog. Dude, you have no idea how badly I wanted to tweet. I'm really happy that the team used their critical thinking. I was so tempted, man.
Oh my god.
So tempted.
Gotta be
Ultimately-
stopped.
Look, the Knots have never been wrong. Kevin was right. The last list.
Yeah,
I was right. The last list sucked, man. I was right.
Yeah, Tornadjinn's on this list and Eruption.
Yeah, bro. Eruption to 1, man. I wanted to cry. I legitimately wanted to cry.
News.
Like it's so good. Like the list is so good. It is so good. They did all of the things correctly. Almost all the things correctly. I don't think there's anything on here. So it's really funny. I guess one that's also like a little bit controversial was I was talking to Hat about this. I think the solar hit wasn't Solar Burst, but was the Guardian of Light. But I know a lot of people won't agree with that one, but the reason why I have that opinion. Well, so the reason for that take, right, is for me, okay, just to clarify, I'm not against the Solar Burst hit. I think it's a perfectly fine hit. I just think if you didn't want to hit Solar Burst and you wanted to leave Solar with like a Foretell tool, right? Because that's like the whole idea behind the deck is that it has the Foretell options. I liked the idea of hitting Guardian instead of the Solar Burst because if you hit Guardian, the biggest like drawback for Solar is that it didn't have any sort of spirit recovery. So like if you got it low, if they don't have Guardian, you've won the game. Like just by nature of getting them low, and they get themselves low by just playing because their deck costs a lot of spirits. So the logic was if you remove that tool, you hit how many counter runes they can play in a deck that already can't play many. So it forces them to play very few counter runes. So all your plays on the opposing side of the solar deck will go through for the most part. And it also removes their recursion, and they have to replace it with an objectively worse card, which is Ambrosia for them. You know?
I could see it, but I don't think I agree.
That's why I had that take.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I feel like most people won't agree with that, which I think is reasonable. I think wanting Solar Burst to be limited is also completely reasonable, so I have no problem with it.
I've been double or triple Solar Bursted too many times at locals, with my opponent having like a 2-drop or 3-drop on board.
They didn't touch resting, huh?
They didn't. That's what they should have hit instead of Ambrosia to show that they're willing to hit Omnis.
Yeah, I also thought Ambrosia was strange. I saw Ambrosia, I was like, this is a weird one. I don't like that.
Well, I don't know, right?
Which is funny because in the past I was on the
yeah
limit to ban Ambrosia train. But like where the game is at now, I don't think that was necessary. I think if they did this like 2 sets ago, I would have been on board. But now I didn't think it was necessary.
Yeah, I agreed. It's like I stand by that. I think that there is enough of their element specific Ambrosias that this could even go in a different direction. But I
agree.
I do think there needs to be more different Ambrosias still. I think upon reflection of the different Ambrosias, it still forces a certain type of deck building that I don't love. Like it forces mandatory requirements for like, if you want Spirit Recursion, you have to play Guardian of Light. You have to play the pups because you search the lunar phase. You have to play what's it called? Artifacts for Reforge. Like it makes deck building both open and also closed in different ways, and that's fine. It's just I think there could be now different Ambrosias now to help facilitate maybe the game plans or better spirit fixing, etc. So I don't know.
I mean, in fairness, I think that Guardian of Light is a good like different Ambrosia. It's an Ambrosia that does something different and also kind of heals you and stuff like that. You know what I mean? There's just it's just like back and forth. I like it. I
agreed.
Again, I think if you remove the Solar Burst like they did, then Guardian of Light's a cool card.
Yeah. Win the send, my goat. Yeah, Eruption down. Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Tiled Eruption incoming.
Yeah, and also, hi Helen, by the way, and yes, congratulations. Hello. Lynx being back down does kind of suck for Earth, but makes sense. Kinleo, yeah, super strong. Kevin, did you have any opinions on the Lockagon hits? Like, I know you weren't like super big on the Lockagon deck for a little while.
I think that limiting the Frostfall Lockagon is extremely reasonable. And obviously with the ban to Tatpuff, I'm really happy that they came around on that. But I think the limit of the Lockagon is enough. I think it's definitely enough. If anything, I think it might have been a little harsh, but I think it's enough.
Yeah.
This Lockagon lost 4 cards this list.
Nog.
I guess
Tatpuff, Nog, Lock, and Ambro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Lost Lavalith.
Dude, I'm so happy for the Nog
Lavalith,
ban.
so it's
The Nog
5
ban,
unique cards.
Dude, thank God.
Yeah.
I think the lock deck has ways to play, though. I think it definitely has ways to play still.
Agreed.
It's just not a lock deck anymore, I think. It's just Aphoros 5s.
Yeah, it's
and then you
water.
have a random payoff.
It's
And that's just
water,
like, that's just boring. I don't want to play 5s.
I think that's still like kind of fine. I don't know. The scarier thing.
Jaded on Aphoros. I'm just jaded on Aphoros. That's really what it is.
Aphoros
I'm tired
is
of that card.
Aphoros is a little crazy. I do wish it was
You talking about the champs?
Yeah.
Yeah, Champ Aphoros.
Even OG's sick.
Yeah.
OG is very strong as well.
Yeah, I think still I would have loved to see I don't know. I think as far as like limits go or other hits go, I think maybe Chronodile could be one of them.
It should have been banned.
Yeah,
Like-
Chronodile is going to be a very real thing.
I think you could limit it. I think it could be like Pharaoh Geist. I think we could just
No, it need to be banned. It's searchable. You can special ascend into it very easily.
You
Yeah,
have to
it's fine.
ban both. You have to ban both. To be honest.
Pharaoh Geist, at least you
Like,
can't,
ban-
special into.
Is
But
there
I
a-
think, yeah.
is there a world where we limit / ban all the Daybreak top box toppers?
Yeah, they should. I've been saying this since the start of live stream. Is they needed to hit every single Daybreak box stopper. They are all way too overtuned. They don't feel fun to resolve against you. Celestia was like the smallest problem, and that's crazy to me.
I
Celestia.
love that the smallest problem is Chaos Ruler that adds all of them in
Yeah.
box cards.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's the least.
I think that Solar is too committal. My hot take with it is that like Celestia is good. Like, don't get me wrong, it's really good. But post Rise ban, it's just so commitment heavy that Tornadjinn was just your win condition anyways, and now with that gone, I think the deck is just significantly weaker. It's now so much more dependent on Ascensions, and with where maybe the Drake Array stuff is now correct because it's better to put out 7s that heal yourself. I don't know. Like, Jargalis plays super well. I mean, right? I guess, right? That's kind of the thing, is that to combat the fish strategy with it, which I think is still the bar. Like, Lockdown was always the bar for what a good deck is. How does a deck now reach the height of fish, or the depths of fish? I guess I should say.
The depths of fish.
The depths of fish.
Fish.
So the crazy thing is, my boy Millmaster Mike has been playing a lot of like 2-drop, 3-drop turbo solar. Been playing a lot of Drake Array Celestio. Yeah. And so I went to our local testing group just to see like where he's at with a bunch of these lists. They're basically unchanged from today's list. So
Yeah,
Solar
that deck, I'm not even kidding.
is
That deck is
identical.
just stack turbo. You either sack or you lose. Like, it's insane.
yeah, and that's why you mulligan to win. Mike's not even on Humbust anymore. He's just playing like, I'm gonna turbo into Drake Array and Leonite, and then I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, I think that's
Like,
correct.
The only changes are you take out 2 Nog and a Solar Burst, and the list is identical.
I think that's correct. Like, I was talking to PK and to Law about this whenever they were doing their run, where it's like, I think Solar just works best as like you have so many strong Ascensions just played towards the Ascensions. And
You just start playing Soul Bell.
yeah, legitimately.
Ironically, I've got a list that I was putting together for Solar that it's like, yeah, you just get to play Soul Bell. That shit goes crazy.
Yeah, just a free body to ascend. It's nice. The only difference between that and the fish deck is that the fish are more offensive heavy. But I don't know. I think that I think still Solar is still very committal, which is maybe what's going to hold it back a lot. I don't know how Solar Burst will be a factor, I think, because you can't just like, similar to the Cryoling hit, you can't just quote unquote brainlessly go, all right, I'm going to Solar Burst and I'm going to Solar Burst again and keep tempo, even though I probably quote unquote shouldn't keep tempo because of the nature of like the defensive play, the weak stat lines. Like, Solar Burst, I think, was carrying that, at least in my opinion.
The thing is, I'm looking at his list. He was only on 2 Solar Burst, so like,
Like,
so like, I don't even know if you can make that argument. That's the crazy part.
That's my Millmaster right there. That's my Millmaster Mike.
He's just goated. He's just goated.
Do you mean committal from a deck building perspective or board investment? Board investment. I think that deck building commitment is like extremely subjective. I think that people will put in pretty much, depending on who you talk to, that is going to be how they're going to build their deck, right? Like, the Australians are really big in on this, like, when I see this card, I'll win, so I'll just see this card. The other contingency of Elestrals players are like spirit efficient, 1-drops, 2-drops, etc. So I think that, like, when I'm saying committal, I'm meaning that the deck has to make a decision, and that requires a skill level that I think some players just won't be able to catch on to very easily, versus like a lock deck, which is very like easy to pick up and has a high skill ceiling. So it's, I guess, mainly about skill ceiling and also about counters. It's kind of how I put that, right? Like, anytime you are hard ascending into anything, I feel like that's a huge commitment considering the cards that are in the meta. 1 PTA just ruins your day. And it's like a lot of good players will just wait until you drop that one 2-drop, and then they'll say PTA, and then you just might explode into the sun. Is what I mean by that, I guess I should say. Lustron Turbo is back, and that's kind of what I mean. Lustragon, great card, way too committal for the payoff. Speaking of Australians, Ruminous Rumble 2 coming soon. They need to do that once a month. They need to do Ruminous Rumble once a month. I love an overnight event. That was awesome. That's so much fun. All right. Anything on this list that we want to expand
I have
upon?
nothing more to add.
I'm gonna go take a nap.
I honestly, I was listening to this and I was like, you know what? I am going to play again. I want to play.
Let's freaking go.
This
He's
list
so
has made
back.
me want to play, which is something that no other list that this game has released has made me want to play. So this is good. This is a good thing.
Yeah, I'm excited. I really am excited. This is the list that we're going to be getting into Worlds. Like, we won't have any sort of balance changes as far as our current card pool goes. We don't know if it's Sunstrike or not. If Sunstrike, cool. Excited for the new cards. If not Sunstrike, then cool. I'm curious to know what's going to be like the text, the metas as this develops. I'm a little concerned about counter runes still being defining factors. That's like my only thing. But I'm hopefully optimistic about the decks and the list that we will see.
Hell yeah.
Thunder best deck, let's go.
Yeah, Unk untouched, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Problematic. They gotta bring him back.
We need more counter runes. We need.
Anyways, on that note, I will be jumping out, but
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
Pog. See y'all
Bye-bye.
at the next premiere, maybe. Bye.
Absolutely.
Oh, there he goes.
There he goes. All right. Well, yeah, thank you everyone for being here with us today, for hanging out on this beautiful emergency ban list day. I think this has been good list. Love the rationale, blog post sick. I think everything about this I'm pretty positive on ultimately. Josh is I'm assuming driving. Caleb feeling similar.
Yeah,
I'm driving to work.
Yeah.
we got work to do.
True.
I'm cooking up solar right now.
My goat.
Solar best deck. Again, always
yeah.
has been.
Yep, it was never bad. People just didn't want to play it.
True.
Yeah, I guess that being said, thanks everyone for watching. We're gonna be cooking up some stuff soon. Maybe we'll start to do our cooks and deck profiles. I know that I'll probably be streaming live sometime this weekend, even maybe just to do like a brew session. That's probably be ideas for that.
Yep,
Like
every deck tier list.
Every deck tier list.
Every deck tier list. Finally, we
Again?
can do it.
Finally.
After so long.
Oh God, finally. Yeah, I got leave a like, all that stuff. The algorithm. Follow us on Twitter at Elestronauts. Yeah, let us know if you're watching this on the VOD later, your thoughts and opinions. I'm sure we'll be making some more stuff in the future. Hopefully this brings and breeds a lot more new light into the game of Elestrals. Yeah, huge day in general. But with that being said, we'll talk to y'all later. Bye everyone. Bye.
Everyone.
Goodbye. Go take a nap. Goodbye.
I know. Yeah, it's nap time.